of things to say now.
Hey, and welcome to a special edition of the Clipping Point, where, as usual, I am joined by Mr. Tim Murphy.
Oh, look,
oh no, actually, there he is.
That was nice.
There's Tim Murphy.
That was distracting. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Don't want to
And
mess up your
then
intro.
we got
Is this a
Noel
special
Garcia
one?
over there.
No, just
Good
nothing
evening.
special.
Chris,
All
even better, we got Chris Jackson in the house.
Hey, your
And
mom
then-
said wipe your face.
Did you change your shirt?
Our
Mom said
special
change your
guest,
It's sweating.
Mr. Jeff Jones.
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah, as long as I don't owe you money.
Oh,
shirt.
boy.
The only special guest if you don't owe them money.
Yeah.
You owe a lot of people money?
Sometimes.
Hmm.
Favors.
So, you're here in Florida. Why? Tell everybody. First of all, tell everybody. Everybody already knows who you are, but just say.
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. And why are you in Florida
I
at
never get to
Jackson's
hang out
shop?
with Chris Jackson. And I always make him hang out with me. And I was like, you know what? Let's come to his shop and do nothing but chill and relax and just, you know, have a good time.
I'm not gonna play it. Hey, you're on your own.
Yep.
You got this.
Yeah. I got to drop off the whip and let him have some fun with it. Hey, you got to have fun. That's
Oh,
your.
blast.
your-
So what'd you
your
do? Did you
fun.
take it out?
Well, we if out like.
No, but you didn't drive it. That's the real fun.
No.
Mm.
Actually, here. Okay.
Get on the mic, bro. We're
can't
gonna
hear me?
share this one.
He could.
We're gonna yank this.
Jeff is
sucker
gonna.
off.
Yeah,
We get wild.
Jeff is a little violent.
We get
Yeah,
wild with it.
yeah, he does. He does when you get him and Chris
Yeah,
together.
what'd you do, Chris?
I
had nothing to
I
do
put
with
he helped to take it out, and then we mounted stuff.
Mounted stuff.
We put the diff back in.
You put it back in.
I got a list in there. I feel like I
Yeah.
did a lot more.
You
I
took it.
broke things. He fixed it.
I checked every bolt in the back of the car now has paint on it, like some stuff, so we don't have to
Oh, so you
keep on
know-
checking it.
Oh, I see.
Checked the alignment. We made sure the new drive shaft. Waited for the new drive shaft to get in.
Wait.
Put
So
that
what kind of drive shaft you put in there?
No, it's just
Same-
3.5-inch
same-
aluminum. No. It had to be different because the
This is a
flange.
Oh,
very
'cause
long
right.
story short, but yeah, he did some
Yeah.
things.
There's some things.
Yeah, we upgrade.
Hmm.
So we
Now,
were the only car.
did you change the gearing?
Yeah.
too?
Well, now we can change the gearing whenever we want. We
But
were the
did
only
you change
one.
it from when you
Yes.
last drove it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we were the only one that didn't have a quick change. So now we're part of the cool kid
There's
club.
one or two guys
Who?
who don't have
Name
a quick
one.
change.
Name
Alec
two.
Robbins. I'm gonna tell him my old diff.
Okay.
Get ready, buddy. I'm
One
gonna charge
more.
you up the ass.
One more.
What gear were you running? What was the stock gear in the 370?
We would typically run a 3.5 or a 3.7. A big track would run a 3.5, and then small tracks 3.7.
Okay. Nice. And then, so what do you have in there now? Like right now as it sits?
What's in the
It's a
Jackson?
384.
Oh, so it's
Well,
He did the math on his fingers,
yeah.
and he's like, Orlando.
Well, no, like. So we wanted to be in fourth gear this time in Orlando.
the old fourth
384
gear grab,
should
huh?
make it
Yeah, the old
fourth.
fourth gear. They'll
So,
send it.
You know?
Hmm.
Well, you know how many times I've broken third gear? Like just 800 foot-pounds of torque, or I think we're at like 9 now, is just much for third gear. Because basically you end up spreading the gears and tips and
Oh.
Yeah, it's not good to spread it like that.
yeah, don't spread it.
Hmm.
They don't like it.
Interesting. So now you got 382. So
384.
384. My bad.
Thanks for listening.
I don't listen. I got the first two right. Okay, I got like most
It's
of it
okay,
right,
though,
so we're
'cause-
good.
Well, we don't have a camera over there, but Jackson's got spare parts for me. We've got another quick change. We've got a sequential. We've got spare,
Oh, you got a sequential
we've
going?
got
in?
spare
Nice.
gears floating around here somewhere. Yeah.
There's a lot of spare parts here.
Hey, first rule of Fight Club.
You're not supposed to
is
have.
turn off your phone.
Is that
Dave.
Marco? This is
Come on, Dave.
This is Dave, everybody. Thank you, Dave.
Guys,
this is chaos.
All right, answer that.
get to work, Dave.
All right, Dave.
Yeah.
Right,
Do your job.
You know, now that I've got to hang out at Jackson Performance, I really realized Dave is key to the place.
Yeah. How long will he be around though? That's the key.
Dave and Mike.
You know, my car has been here through about
Mike's
20
over there still
employees.
working.
Keys don't last long. You know, keys get lost. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was key.
Keith.
Oh.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
key.
Keith. And then where's
Yeah.
Jeff? Oh, Jeff. Jeff got an actual real
Jeff
job.
got a real job.
Yeah, Jeff Abbott.
Yeah, I like Jeff.
I missed it. I wanted to see him and hang out.
Oh, so you didn't? When you got here the first time, he wasn't here?
In Puerto Rico for his birthday.
Oh, that's right. His wife's Puerto Rican. Yeah. That's good stuff. Good stuff.
I'll say thank you for him.
You are Jeff. That's
Yeah.
right.
So yeah, Mike's back there working. Chris, what do you actually do?
All right. So wait. Yeah. What do you do?
Other
Well, I
than,
believe I do everything.
Other than lie to
You-
everyone
you-
and tell them that you're not here.
Nobody tells that he does everything. When you get here, Chris does everything.
No.
I'm sitting here with him, and
It's just
the
I'm
phone
like,
will ring.
I'm like,
Dave will answer it and look right at Jackson and be like, "He's not here. I think he's in the shop."
He's not.
So, sorry to let off the beans, everyone.
I just work extremely fast, so I can get stuff done fast. Not in Tim's car.
Not in my car. That car is a staple of Jackson
that your
Performance.
car?
That's
his
my car. It's been here for 3.5
Yeah,
years.
If I finish it, he'll never talk about me anymore.
That won't.
I'll never see him ever again. So.
Yeah. No, you will.
It's a good placement of the shop. It's like,
Collects
it's something
everything
for someone to look at when they walk in here.
and say, "Oh, what's going on
I
here?"
feel like that should never get done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I'm with that.
It would be easier if you just paid for storage.
Oh, pay for storage.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, he
That
owes me
works better.
3.5 years of rental for my car then, so we'll kind of break even. And what's left of it?
It'll be the other way around.
No, you've been renting my E30 for 3.5 years. So it's a barter.
See how that works.
I waive his rental fee for the car, and he waives my storage fee.
Okay, so we're pretty much even. Sounds good.
So we all get to
Let's just
drive
keep doing
at
what we're
the end
doing.
of
Let's keep doing what we're
Let's keep
doing.
doing what we're
this. As long
doing.
as
We're
we all
not
get
good
to
then.
drive that thing when it's done.
Yeah. Well, I know Chris will be driving it.
Gotta go first.
If you're around,
Yeah.
you got to be in
Well,
Florida.
it's most likely gonna break. Andy, you're making noise.
You have an Andy cam? Can't you set one up on Andy
Yeah,
all the
there
whole
should
An
be
time?
a
Andy
camera
cam,
on
an
Andy.
Andy
Can you
cam.
like keep on
don't-
switching back when a noise
No,
happens?
it's okay. It's okay.
I think you should
It's
do an
okay.
Andy cam.
An Andy
Definitely have
cam.
an Andy cam.
Wait.
Andy is
They're
dragging
totally
a
gonna stress Ben out.
transmission
Ben's gonna go on
jack
overload.
I can work
Andy
something
cam.
out.
Andy cam, turn that one over
Definitely
there.
have an Andy cam.
Turn that one.
Yeah.
Some of you
Have him
guys
turn
don't
that
know,
one. You
but
got
Andy
a
has
cameraman?
surprise cam.
That's an Andy cam.
There you
There's the
go.
Andy cam.
There you go.
Andy,
you go.
go up a little bit. Up.
You gotta go up.
Up. Andy, introduce yourself. Nice and loud. Who are you?
You're missing up. There you
I
go.
thought
There you
that was
go.
Jesus.
That's
Jesus
so
on
we're
the
gonna just
ranch.
leave that Andy cam on there. I guess that'll be the Andy cam. Andy's working on his car. Actually, no, he's working on a Bradley's
Brad.
car. Where's Bradley?
Bradley Douglas.
You want to get pizza?
I'm going to go get pizza.
Yeah.
So
Soccer.
so Andy's renting Bradley's car.
Yep.
And in order to rent it, he has to make it past tech, basically.
Yeah.
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 So, but Andy's been working hard trying to find the loopholes in the rule book, and I think he's found several, I believe, right? And he's going to expose all of them. So they will totally, the loopholes.
all the loopholes.
Loophole. I mean, I'm sorry. The loop that goes around the drive shaft. The drive shaft loop is what I meant to say. That's what he's doing. Yep. There you go. Improving things. Bradley's. So are you going to leave that stuff on Bradley's car when you're done?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Not only are you paying him, so you're paying him to use his car and you're upgrading
the SFI
it.
sticker. Get the SFI sticker.
Yeah, you definitely got to throw that into the wall. Oh, Jackson didn't do that? This is Jackson.
No.
Oh.
It's gonna keep you on your toes.
Oh, okay. It's a little bit of excitement. Will the wheels stay on this time? Who knows? We'll find out.
Wait, does this
Stay
car have
tuned.
history?
No, Brad just doesn't tighten the wheel nuts.
Oh damn.
Brad hits a lot of stuff already, anyways. So,
Brad can have a really nice car. He just drives like Brad and doesn't care ever.
so there you go, Andy. Drive like you don't care.
Drive like Brad.
Yeah. Chris has got to fix it either way. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Just don't take pictures before you drive it. So nothing to compare it to. Or maybe you can get Chris to show some old pictures of demolition that Brad did to the car and say, well, this is what it looked like before.
Like 1 week ago pictures.
Yeah, like 1 week ago pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you need.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've got fresh wraps and stuff in that floor now. You can't see that; it's off frame. But Andy will put that fresh wrap with that.
Andy's breaking things, but he's gonna hook that up.
Thanks to Superior.
Sweet.
And they bang that out.
All right. So is this Jeff Jones Racing or Jackson Jones Racing or what is this exactly?
Yeah,
We're merging.
What is Chris's
I'm
role
employed.
in the Jeff Jones team?
He's taking over everything, so I don't have to do anything but drive. Trying to get there. We're trying to get there.
Yeah, basically.
More
Basically.
crap I can give him.
Yeah.
The less things I got to think about.
So he's team captain.
Yeah, he's the captain. You know,
Oh.
he's earned it. He's been helping the most. We actually met a long ass time ago, my first year, and
Probably with you, Tim.
Probably.
you may
were
have
probably
been
there.
Yeah. I drove with you one when you had the
Atlanta?
CX Racing. No, when we were at Aftermath. You didn't know I was there.
Aftermath.
CFRC.
event.
The day after.
The day
FD.
after-
The day after I
FD.
told him my yellow car.
Oh yeah, that was rad.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
you on that cobblestone.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Brick
Yeah.
wall.
When you were a CX Racing car.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so how did you guys meet?
Beer.
Beer. You don't even.
A
You don't
young
really like
alcoholic
beer.
Walked over
I didn't.
to
Well, I
me.
mean,
He
I was
doesn't
young.
like
I was
beer.
young. This was a
Well,
long
I
time
say
ago.
beer because I was drinking beer. I don't know.
Oh.
why he
No,
was
I was
so
drinking
drunk.
his beer.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
at the
was
same
like,
time.
so it was like me and Keith and like whoever else was with us that year in Atlanta, and he had a 1J car and I had a 2J car, so I was like, oh, we got like
Hey,
cool cars.
yeah,
Like,
Jay-Z,
this is awesome. We're like,
brothers.
we're cool guys,
They're
yeah.
basically related.
So he's like,
Yeah.
hey, he's like, get these guys a beer. I say, wait, you guys old enough? He's like, I don't care, get these guys a beer anyway.
Oh, I
Yeah.
remember
So,
that.
like,
Yes, we
yeah.
were at that what's the name of that spot they had in
Not
Atlanta?
Taco Mac, but it
That
was,
was-
at the pit.
Oh,
And
okay.
this was literally at the pit.
At
He
the
walks in and like I don't know if you had a driving suit on or just something
Yeah, maybe.
like overalls
I might have been already drunk
that you put
too.
stickers on that
Yeah.
make it look like a driving suit.
Oh no, it's
But I had
probably
the
the one
same
I
thing
bought.
going on.
Mhm.
And yeah, he just walked over talking shit about my car.
Yeah.
Is this a pro car? I'm like, barely. Out here. It's my first year. We didn't have much going on. But yeah, alcohol made the connection.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
A lot of connections that
Helped
way.
out for like I don't know.
Okay, so you guys
6 years.
met drinking. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah, we're
cool.
pretty good at that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard stories.
Every
I've heard
time
stories.
I've come down to Orlando, always had the help.
I don't know, Chris. I don't know.
Except for that one year where you were like raving or something.
Chris.
I don't know,
Well,
he
he
was
always
ready.
dances. I got some videos of him dancing.
Yeah.
He's-
Well, I
he's-
like dancing.
No, but he's the king. He tears it up.
I know.
I mean, he
Oh,
at
my
least
wife
he's got
saw
moves.
him do the
The hanky
was
panky.
Backstreet Boys the other
Oh
day.
yeah,
The Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
That was after a
Our
bottle.
best
of
friend
Fireball.
after that.
But they're all kind of different versions of the same dance. Just him jumping
I think
around a
they're
lot.
completely
Oh, you
different.
had a whole different dance.
He did the splits.
Yeah.
You do splits?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess half a bottle of Fireball's involved.
That's pretty good.
Interesting.
Guess so.
Okay, so then after that, how do you guys like keep in touch after that, or was it just kind of like we got drunk together? You had that initial bond, and then how
Yeah, we
how did
hit
you
it
guys get
off.
back together?
I had
Like,
the
what?
butterflies.
Oh, like should I call him? Did he ever call you and hang
Yeah.
up right away? And you're like, I don't know who that
No,
was.
he's like,
Are those dry shaft bolts?
he's like, you hang up first. I'm like, no, you hang up first.
Oh, okay. So, but like, what brought you guys back together to where you say, "Hey, Chris, I want you to help me out"?
Basically, I found a lot of enjoyment in helping and like learning more about like what I do, you know, on like the amateur level,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, so I thought that was cool. And then he needed the help, you know, no
I needed a
offense,
lot of
but he
help.
needed the help.
Right.
Needed a
So
lot of help.
I think it's like now it's just like the main goal is like let's get the car on podium together. So
Well, you almost made it. I mean,
Yeah, we
you're
almost made a
well, you're
lot.
third in points, right? From what I
30
understand.
points, no podium, makes no sense.
Well, so what if they just end the season right now? You'd be in third place. You're third
Yeah.
place in the season.
And yeah,
I mean,
it'd be a fight.
Tied with
It'd be the
Vaughn,
dance
yeah.
off. We've been
Yeah.
talking
Dance
about the crew dance offs.
Pretty sure we can outdance.
okay. So,
Vaughn.
but so
Vaughn-
did
our
you?
team versus Vaughn's team, we can definitely outdance them.
Well,
I could see that.
might have
yeah.
to be some
Yeah,
sabotage.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're old.
yeah.
Yeah.
Vaughn might hurt
Yeah.
himself.
They're gonna do the
Yeah, I think he will hurt
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
you know
all
what?
they
You
do
know,
is
but you know
the-
what it is? They'll name the dance. It'll be like the achy breaky.
Probably the electric
So
slide.
it'll be
I feel
some
like
electric slide.
It'll be the electric slide.
So,
If
but
Vaughn
so-
had to pick a dance. Yeah.
So this is the
Some
thing,
line
though.
dancing for sure.
Chris, did you approach Jeff, or Jeff, did you actually Chris, or you guys just locked eyes and it was just meant to be?
Definitely locked eyes and meant
Yeah,
to be. for
probably
sure.
that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm kind of getting jealous.
No, honestly,
it's-
I'm,
I would
am I a little red?
say-
I think I'm a little red.
I kind of wish that I would have asked him earlier to. I think it was like 4 years ago when we, because we'd always, once Formula D started coming to Orlando or Miami or just Florida all in general, 'cause it's all the same place.
Hmm.
I don't know, it's far as fuck. But after a few years of him helping me only in Florida, he went up to Atlanta one time, and then I think the year after was like, "Hey, I can actually like help you all the time." And I was like, "Damn, you got a shop? You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I got people. I can make it happen." So then that's when he like jumped on full time, and that has been the best decision. That's definitely helped out because it is hard to find good help, as Jackson can tell you. Like,
Well, that's everywhere.
yeah,
it's
everywhere. Like
in
literally,
just about every
Jackson-
industry.
right? Like Jackson flies from Florida, Alpha flies from TJ, Greg Leone. He's the only one who's close to me.
That's Tijuana, Mexico. We
Yeah.
don't know TJ's in Florida.
Oh, okay, my bad. Yeah, Tijuana, Mexico.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Ring is from Wisconsin, so I got guys who fly from all over the country because it's hard to find your, like I ran out of the normal friends. I
Well,
already pulled all
you
those
wore them
favors.
out. You wore
Yeah.
them out like
We either drank too much, or they wore them out, or they had a kid, or they got a real job, whatever.
Oh, they're saying screw
So
Jeff.
it's really hard to be in
That's too much
Formula
work.
D and do this stuff. That's what Brad was asking me earlier about, like how to do it, and he wants to watch Andy do it in his car and all that. But that's it's just so much work, and have a crew guys that want to help you out as much. Like me and this guy have conversations all the time, and Sam's definitely like, "Hey, I want my boyfriend back," and all the time. But like we're just sitting there talking about car parts, half the day.
Yeah.
Ordering what should we order, what can we fix, what can we do to make improvements.
In the off season, like not
Yeah.
even like
Mhm.
just during season. Like off season is just as much work, like trying to get funding and
Yeah.
do.
Well, that's
like,
even
you
more
know,
work.
It's never stop. Yeah.
In the middle of what? Oh, the night.
Yeah.
Okay, I was thought in the middle of something else.
Well, I'm in Cali time, so for me it's just like 9 o'clock. I can just.
That's
call
right.
it.
That's right.
Wake up, mother.
So how long has
He
Chris?
wakes me up, so
How
it's
long's
not
Chris
too
been with you since you guys made that commitment? And you guys said I do.
Years fly by. I don't know. It's like
This
3
is
or
my
4.
third year. I think no, Atlanta last year. After Atlanta is when I started
Full
really,
time.
really like full time and like stepping up.
But you were spotting for him at one time, weren't you?
I spotted like once or twice, but I hate that job. That
Yeah.
job sucks. Thank God Alpha knows what he's doing. Alpha.
Yeah.
No.
Andy Hateley spotted for me. What year was that? 2017? 16?
Andy Camp. Andy.
Yeah,
Andy Cam.
Yeah,
Andy Cam. There you go.
Andy, did you enjoy spotting?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. I was double dipping.
At the event, you actually don't.
Can we hear Andy over there? We're just watching a mute guy talk.
I kind of like that angle though.
Yeah.
No,
Can you sign language?
No's not talking. No, just that's.
As long as it's pointing.
Yeah, it should be fine.
Should be better. Yeah.
Oh man, I
Hey,
really
you're
like.
the most
I really
silent
like.
guy,
No,
bro.
You gotta move
At
the
some
Andy.
point, you gotta
you
hop
gotta
in on
move
this
the Andy
conversation.
No's not
But he's
doing
got the best
anything. You
Sit on
could
his lap. Sit on his lap.
God
I'm here.
Sit on
I
his
didn't know.
lap.
No.
damn it. No,
Yeah.
yeah, no,
No way.
it's Noel.
I'm a camera guy now.
Hop in, buddy.
All right.
All right.
Back in the saddle.
Yeah.
I can't not zoom in.
Oh, you took Jackson out. Oh,
Get in on his
I
boogers.
thought you were on his lap, bro.
What?
this is chaos. This
break
is
his leg.
this is what every day at Jackson's. So so some crazy stuff happens at Jackson's shop, right?
Kind of crazy stuff.
Remember the guy that came
Whoa.
and that was like
Not
on?
too good?
He was on drugs or something. He's,
Oh, that's
and,
great.
and you guys, he was
Oh,
choking you
we were
out.
talking that
That
today.
sounds like
I
normal Florida
gotta.
stuff to me.
Yeah.
There's some crazy stuff that happens here. One day I was here and we're checking out something. He's like, "Listen, guys, I might get shot today because some guy's car that was here. It was like a donk with like 1,000 horsepower or something."
Damn.
So, anyways, so you guys met, you locked eyes. You said I do, but then we moved on to Andy.
Yeah,
and now
Andy-
Andy sits down and he stops talking.
Yeah.
No, do me a favor. Hook him up with the mic.
I was getting positioned. I didn't want to touch that.
So we're talking about being a spotter.
Yeah. I was basically doing research for the following year because I was coming back in 2017, and I got to watch so many different drivers, watch all their tendencies. I was taking notes on every single one.
Ah,
so
he's got your number. Watch out.
You get to learn
Andy's a
their
badass.
just
I'm
their
rooting
general
for him.
style of driving and where they make mistakes and their likelihood of making mistakes. And there's
Mm.
certain drivers that are very likely to make really dumb mistakes in the heat of the moment, and there's certain ones that are always just on point every single time. And you either got to be as on point as them and rely on them to make either a small mistake or have them have a mechanical failure, or it's just not happening.
Okay. I got a question for you.
Jeff's also gotten a lot better since then.
What?
Way
Oh,
better.
you
I
kind
used
of
to be one of those
he
guys that made a
totally cut
mistake
my
in the
question.
clutch.
Like
Yeah,
I was
No,
like, so what's
he's made
Jeff
a ton of
Jones'
improvement,
stupid mistake in the
and
heat of the
it's,
moment?
No, it's driving time. Back then, I could only afford to drive at Formula D. So and I think that's the case
Wow.
for most FD drivers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, 5-10 years ago was probably still for other guys too, right? But now I can afford to drive my practice car, my RX-7, and then me and Andy, actually Andy was in it way before I was, but I got into sim racing, sim drifting.
Mhm.
and
I
that's
heard.
been a big improvement.
Well, yeah, but I heard from Jackson that you have
once I
some
got
bad
you on the
habits
good
that you
wheel.
carry over from the sim into Irwindale.
That could be a thing. What are the bad habits, bro?
I don't know. What was the bad habit? The little flick? You're saying,
Oh, the flick, yeah,
I don't know. I told Jeff don't do the stupid little flick that he does on the sim.
I can
He's
kinda-
always doing that stupid flick.
Andy taught me that.
Ah,
On the sim.
Which one?
The just like hard flick into initiation at
Yeah,
Irwindale.
yeah, at Irwindale.
Yeah, in the game you can definitely get away with that.
Yeah.
And you kind of want to do that in the game.
Yeah.
Game makes no sense.
But my car wasn't making enough power for the amount of grip that we had, so I wasn't able to do that the way I wanted to. It kept pushing me down.
Didn't work.
So yeah, we had to back away from that.
Yeah,
And that just kind of comes from notes that we didn't take from the previous year.
I got to hear the rant like right after he came back, and he goes,
Oh, yeah?
griping and
ranting
stuff.
about me. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
No, that machine, that freaking driving simulator, I think it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, hang on, because I remember
Oh,
one year.
Oh, Noel's
Hang
got
on.
something to say.
He does.
I do. Finally.
I'm in trouble.
I remember one year, if it was last year or 2 years ago, that you were doing a qualifying run and you went to transition to the first center clip, and the car didn't come back. Was that the Sims' fault?
I don't know what. Go answer that however you want.
Is that an inside joke? I'm
No,
not sure.
No, I don't know.
No,
it's
it's-
totally out left
I
field.
don't
I have no
even know
idea.
what track. What
It was Irwindale.
I
Come
don't
on, you don't
Oh,
remember?
okay. No, this was last year when I wrecked.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Right. Last year? No, 2 years ago. This was 2
I have
years
no
ago when I
idea.
wrecked.
The
all right.
wrecks all go together. Like, at one
All right.
It's all one big
I will
wreck.
give
Yeah.
you an actual mechanical reason on why I wrecked twice hard at Irwindale. No, just once. I wrecked twice. So the first reason, when I was qualifying at Irwindale, we were struggling hard, and the reason was very, very stupid. My car does not fit into my trailer because it's too wide.
Mm-hmm.
So I narrowed the front end. The front of my car, what does it measure out to? Like 83 and a quarter?
Yeah.
When we do our tow, it's like 83 and a quarter.
Wow.
My trailer is 82 inches wide as far as like trying to pull the car in.
Right.
I was thinking to myself, well, if I narrow the front of the car up, which I have a lot of room to do with the Part Shop Max stuff, then maybe I can pull it in. Well, I got to like 82 and a quarter, so it wasn't enough to get the car in the trailer. But I was like, whatever, I'm just going to leave the suspension this way. Well, the Z is only about 100 long, maybe, I don't know what the 101. So basically, I made my car a little bit more of a square and not a walrus. And with all the pro cars, you want more of a walrus so that you have that drivability in the front. And so we were fine on all the flat tracks, but once we made it to Irwindale, the front end I was just struggling. I kept telling Jackson and the rest of the guys, I'm like, I can't feel the front of the car. There's barely any input. We went down to like 20 psi. We went up to like 30 psi. We tried a bunch of different things, and then literally, on qualifying, wrecked just because of stupidity of not remembering that. And so it wasn't until like that night when we were fixing it, and after I qualified like really low and just barely made the show.
Right.
We were sitting there just trying to figure out, why is this car not operating the way it's been all year? And then at some point, I looked at something dumb and remembered, like, hey, the car used to be 83 inches wide last year when we did great. Now I narrowed it to 82. Maybe that's why. So made the front end wider, back to 83 and a quarter. And just that geometry of how wide the front end is versus how wide the back end is versus how long the car is, that was all the difference. The next day I went out and was like doing way, way better. So was doing great, and then tried to just smash it against Odie, and I literally smashed it behind Odie instead.
Well, you got half of it right.
But the run was great. I was doing really good in the run, and then just extended my ability and got lost in the smoke.
Okay. So I guess to answer your question, it wasn't some.
It wasn't the sim.
It wasn't the sim.
But I've never heard of a car being referenced as...
I gave you a really... so I wasn't into sim driving then yet. That was... COVID got me into sim.
Right.
So thanks, COVID.
Oh, okay. All right. I never heard of a car being referenced to as a walrus. That's kind of that's a new one for me. I've heard square.
Rear.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And keep in mind, my car is 6 inches wider front and back because of that crazy Duraflex body kit I got on there.
Right.
So I have like Farouk spacers or Andy Hateley spacers.
Andy Hateley spacers.
4 1/4.
4 1/4.
Serious. Yeah.
Okay, so you're 4 1/4. I'm 3 inch per side. And people were always bashing on those, but dude, it's the same thing as offset.
I ran those for 7 years with 0 failures.
And what we do is,
go through a wheel bearing.
You tighten them.
Yeah.
Check them.
There was a whole thread on Facebook about that. It'd be like, oh, our bolt-on wheel spacers safe. I'm like, well, are bolt-on wheels safe? Are bolt-on hubs safe? Like everything bolts on. And then I made a big joke about it. I was like, all right, for FD 2021. Rotors must be welded to the hub must be welded to the bearing must be welded to the trailing arms must be welded solid in place with no like it's a bolt.
Right.
It's essentially a bolt.
The only problem I see that could cause is that now, since it's so far extended from the actual suspension pickup point, is the geometry would be more drastic when it squats.
So I don't know
here's the thing, with
audience,
the high
but the
offset wheel,
nerdiness...
it's exactly the same leverage.
Okay.
You're basically, think about it as if you welded that wheel spacer to the wheel itself, you're creating a high offset wheel.
Right.
Or low offset wheel, I should say. So with it bolted together, it's literally the same thing. It's all about the barrel location to the bearing location. That's your sheer breakaway.
I've heard you can change your brake pads without taking the wheel off.
Yep, I can.
I can't do that.
Endurance drifting. Endurance drifting. 24 hours straight. Just keep going.
Wow.
Change the pads.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for some of the nerds in your audience that actually maybe care about suspension geometry, Andy's exactly right. And then, but when you do your camber change, you're gonna have like way more lift on the back of the car on a camber change.
There are some bad aspects to it.
There's definitely, and then there's way more scrub radius that happens in the front end.
Yeah, you don't really want to do
if you
spacers.
enjoy that or not. I think with drifting it's fine. I think with the road race car they're not into it.
Yeah.
So scrub radius is kind of am I saying that right? Right?
Yep. Yeah. Scrub radius at the front where the
so if you had zero offset on your tires, they pivot more like F1.
You're sweeping. Instead of the turn action, you're getting the sweep action.
Your pivot points right here, and the tires over here. And normally they're like this. Now you're like this.
Right.
The tire's sweeping along instead of actually pivoting on its own little axis.
But if you got people running crazy offsets, there's no difference running crazy spacers than a regular offset.
Those low offset wheels are heavier, probably too.
Yep.
Like
that's where the extended control arms kind of come in key, because it pushes your knuckle out, so you don't have to run the spacer, and your pivot point is now further out.
Right.
So you can run your wide body, you can run your wheels. You don't have to run the low offset wheels at that point because your hub is. How much further out with the PBM kit, probably?
Yeah, makes sense.
It's 95 with the SLR kit. It's 95 millimeters wider than stock. Or 45 stock at E46, 95 millimeters wider than stock E30.
Okay.
It's pretty wide.
Yeah, it's wide.
It's super wide.
Yeah, your car was definitely a box.
Yeah, and it fit the wide body pretty perfect. I only had a 15 mil spacer up front, and it fit flush. You know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got Hondas
But, yeah, what
circling
is
the
that? Is there a
neighborhood.
dyno
So
outside?
so
There's a dyno 2 doors down.
Andy, since now you're here, we did the Andy Caber sitting out. So everybody that's watching, tell them your name and what you're driving or what you're going to drive, however you want to word that.
My name's Andy Hateley. You probably know me for my bright orange E30.
just see if they
I've
like
been
keep
driving
up.
Pro 2 for quite a while now. They kicked me out in 2016. I won the championship in Southwest Drift and came back. So I'm still here. Trying to get my pro license.
I ain't fucking leaving.
Wait, they kicked. What do you mean they kicked you out?
Well, they didn't let me keep my license at the end of the year.
Yeah, he had a rough year.
Yeah.
And
but you competed in all the, you
they
ran
just,
all the
like,
events, right?
cycled-
Yeah, I
drivers.
ran all the events. I actually had 2 points on the board, and I petitioned, and they didn't pass my petition, and they said it was based off points, and then they passed 2 other drivers that had less points than me. So I don't know if
political.
there's a lack of communication going on there, but I told Kevin to re-review the petition. Again, it was denied. And then in talking to Jim Lau, he's like, you should have come straight to me. I
Either
was
way,
like,
he's
Yeah, it
gonna
doesn't
come
matter at
back
that
and
point.
smash it.
That's,
yeah, I didn't want to bother
He's
people.
gonna
you know?
come back and smash
Yeah.
it.
And it was good to go out and win a championship. I haven't done that before. It felt pretty awesome to win. You know, we were on the podium every single round, and
Didn't
we,
you
Nice.
win 2 championships?
no, we got the license twice in 2012 though. I'm getting
Got it.
hurt all over my face.
Nice.
dirty.
So you had 2
Yeah,
licenses
you
in
can't be
case
worse
you have a
than
spare
Jackson.
license just in case you lose one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we did it through Top Drift and Southwest Drift in
Nice.
2012, and we earned it through both.
So you just
series.
basically went down to your wreck shop and came back
Yep.
the next year.
Yep.
And now you're coming back stronger. So you're going from the E30. I mean, does everybody know what you're going to, or is that a secret?
E46, yeah, it's pretty open. I mean,
Okay.
I've been building all over Instagram. E46 chassis, we're swapping the drivetrain from the E30 over to that. So the quick change, the Dogs Box transmission, the RHS LS7, all will end up in the E46, and looking to be a pretty badass car. It
Super
just
clean
ain't
build.
done yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the E30 is like ridiculously
Yeah.
clean. So what are you gonna do? What's up with the E30? You gonna still
The
use that?
E30, I have an LS3, the actual original motor that I put in the car, which was just a crate LS3 from Jegs that I put the Magnuson charger on. I'll put that back in the car. Probably keep it NA. Probably try and find a T56 like I just
Mhm.
tabbed into that car over there. And
Like a C-time car
yeah,
kind of
use
thing?
that for fun events. I can't let the car die. The
No,
car,
no,
the
no,
car's
no,
like,
no.
I think it's
It's-
iconic, bro. It's
yeah,
a
yeah,
Forza.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
become like too much. I can't get rid of it. I
Right.
can't sell it. I can't
Yeah.
do anything but keep it going. So
Yeah.
you know that's gonna be, I guess, the story of the rest of my life there.
Yeah, I should
Keep
keep
the
mine.
E30.
What did you do to the rear? So is the rear end still a stock trailing arm style, or did you
No,
pull
we
it all
ran
out?
stock trailing arms up until 2016, and then in 2017 we sort of did what the Group A cars did in DTM back in the day. They actually made a different subframe for the motorsport, the DTM E30s
Okay.
back in the day, that changed the sweep angle on the subframe, which is the angle at which they come off the chassis.
Mhm.
They made it less angle. They went from, I believe, 15 degrees down to 12 degrees. So I
Okay.
made, instead of making a whole new subframe, which we're not allowed to do, I made a sort of a bolt-on adapter for the outside pickup point that moves that pickup point back 2 inches.
Okay.
So then we get the same effect, and we actually moved it down to 10 degrees,
Okay.
which gave it amazing straight line traction,
Good.
but we lost a ton of side bite.
Oh,
So
okay. Right.
it would have been great at a track like Irwindale. I mean, maybe not Irwindale because you need side bite when you throw it at the inside. But say on just the big bank at Irwindale, it would be amazing because you have so much forward bite.
So you wouldn't be allowed to
it was-
swap in like an E46 rear end or E36
no,
rear end to
nothing
that?
like that. No,
but
no.
like now you could if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I mean it's an E46, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now that's
No, I'm saying
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
E30 if you really
yeah,
want to.
I mean, I like how the trailing
fellow
arms
was trying to
work.
tell me
I
to
mean,
do that on
paper,
that car.
On paper, the suspension is better than E36 or E46. It actually
Yeah.
gets less camber and toe change throughout compression at that 2-inch mark than E36 or E46. The problem is it's not getting enough. When
Right.
the car leans over, it's not cambering up, and I'm losing contact patch as the car starts to
Mhm.
lean. So that's where their side bite disappears. So I ran a little bit more camber and sort of made it work, and then I eventually moved it to the 1.5-inch mark instead of the 2-inch mark.
Mhm.
And that was like the balance point that I felt super
Oh,
comfortable,
okay.
where it's got good side bite, it's got good forward bite. I mean, the car feels amazing every time I
Alright.
drive it. I wish I could drive it right now.
Okay. Well, but so what are you going to be driving? So everybody's going to be. So
We're gonna be driving Brad's S14 over here. I told Mr. Jeffrey here that I needed a car, and he told Chris, and Chris told Brad, and Brad told
Actually,
me.
you didn't tell me. I told you.
Oh yeah, he
Oh.
told me
Yeah.
that you should run a car.
No,
I was out. I was
We're all
so
good
bummed.
friends, and I'd called Curtis,
Mm-hmm.
Andy's crew guy, and we were just BSing because we were gonna go to Atlanta,
Mhm.
and he had, we were just talking about how Andy's car might not be ready, and I was like, well, is he gonna rent a car? And Curtis was like, I don't think so. It might be too much. I was like, well, let's make some phone calls.
That's the thing. I always thought it would be too much.
Yeah.
and
So then
he
I
gave me a
called
great
Jackson
deal.
because Jackson knows like everyone in Florida.
Yeah, pretty much.
So then I called Andy. I'm like, well, let me call Andy, make sure he's down to rent a car before I tell Jackson to go rent a car.
hmm
And then I was like, hey, you're renting a car.
Mhm.
Yeah. So kind of, I think I've more pushed you on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And
And have you driven a Nissan? I mean, S chassis?
Yeah, I used to own a 14.
It's
The
an
most
S chassis. You'll get
drifting
through
I
that
did it
sucker.
was actually completely stock, which was awesome. I took it to balcony that one day and was smoking people with open diff and stock suspension.
Okay.
So I know the car's all right, and from the simulator experience that I have, like I can hop into basically anything and get it within a few
he's
laps.
also a Z guy.
As long as
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I learned
Yeah.
in Z 350Z. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is your
Yeah.
career in the Z longer? 'Cause-
Uh,
all right, here's a quick backstory. When did you get your D1 license? Because Andy was way pro before I
2005.
was.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
2005 D1.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, when I
Yeah.
met you, I was like the D1 driver, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Who's this guy?" And then
Yeah, I was just some kid playing in the street,
no, you
messing around
drinking
wearing
because I met
seven.
you through Sench, and
Yeah,
Sench was
yeah.
like, "Dude, he's crazy up in the can. He's bouncing off guardrails and all this stuff." And I was like, "I gotta see this. I gotta meet this guy." So I
Yeah,
met
yeah.
you, and we've been cool ever since.
Yeah, just doing dumb things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
he's a Z guy, so I think he's gonna rip it in this, no problem.
Yeah.
and so you guys live close to each other?
Yeah,
Or-
yeah.
Relatively.
30 minutes about.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So okay. All right. So it says
LA
close,
time, that's like an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
depending on the time of day,
Yeah.
right?
pretty much. That's why we usually will hang out like late at night.
Yeah.
And so where are you guys from? For the people that don't know.
Well, Los Angeles for most of you.
Mhm.
Go with that. I mean,
Yeah, it's like saying Miami. It just encompasses all South
yeah,
Florida.
I can tell you Sun Valley is where my shop's at, but no one's gonna hear that. So Burbank,
Burbank.
probably same for you, right?
Yeah, I just say San Fernando Valley.
Yeah.
People seem to know where that is most of the time.
Yeah, no, we do the
Saw
same
that
thing.
on Clueless.
You
Yeah,
say
yeah.
Pompano. People nobody knows what Pompano is, but you say.
Everybody knows Valley Girls.
Yeah,
Fort
yeah.
Lauderdale.
And they don't really
Fort
exist. I've
Lauderdale's
never
getting
seen an
there.
actual Valley Girl.
But you
before.
say Miami.
long time.
People,
Everybody
everybody
Yeah,
knows
I miss
Miami.
them.
Yeah, me too.
Interesting. Okay, so what's Jeff? So what's the game plan for this weekend? I mean, car's set, right? Everything's good to go, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, everything's set.
Everything's good to go. That car's ready to
The
go.
only thing
right
that's
now.
different is the gear change, but that shouldn't be a problem.
The gear change, which means we should have.
But let me ask you something. If
Got a
Jeff is like,
scratch on
dude,
it.
I hate this, can we change? You have the gear set to drop it back down?
Yeah.
Are we
that's
ready
the
to
thing.
go back to our old setup?
I'm just saying.
We're not going back to the old setup.
Not the whole
Yeah,
setup,
no,
but the
we
whole
are
gear.
committed.
We do have gears to make. Basically, our only two options we had before. We
Okay.
have those two options in
Okay.
quick change gears,
Okay.
and there should be less drive change loss.
You keep saying that. I don't know if that's true or
I
not.
think it's 100% true.
I just want to make sure you're set because you may go there and I don't like this
I
380.
feel like that'd be pretty easy
Four.
to measure.
Drivetrain loss?
Yeah.
Well, I tried to, but we were in a rush.
Yeah, you'd have to put the first
We
diff
have to get
in.
the same dyno, same spot, and change it.
No, even with the diff out of the car by measuring load on the outside, and I mean,
Yeah,
you can
it's
measure
who
how
can
much.
calculate it.
Yeah, I mean, if you
There's
have
some
the
guy
other
who has
diff,
a really nice
if you have that next to
YouTube
the other
video
diff, I feel like you could.
where he
measure.
claims.
But
What's that?
It's all good fake math.
Oh yeah.
So basically, like
Yeah.
the way
I like
the
seeing
way the
physical,
pinion, the way the pinion sits on
representations.
it is at a different angle than like
Fake
factory
math.
puts it on an angle.
Okay.
Quiet it down.
Mhm.
Like it's like lower than the center
Right.
line.
Mhm.
To quiet it down. So this is up higher, so it should.
Gonna be rocking and rolling, screaming, baby,
so
right?
Even
Should
if
be
it's like
rocking and rolling.
1%, whatever, we'll take it. You know?
Right. Okay.
I mean, the diff for us.
And okay, we're not like so. Last round we're like sold the diff out of pregnant.
Yeah, the diff for us is
Pregnant
we
girl
would,
Z.
we would
What did the
break.
pregnant have to do with anything?
Well,
You can
because,
just say
like-
that we took it out of
She had
somebody's
to
Z.
walk home
But he
after
had
that.
to.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because like so Nick Ward hit up his buddy George, and George is like, "Wife's got a 370."
All right, well, hold on. Let's give the whole story real quick. Basically, I was on the dyno just to make sure everything was good before I head out to Atlanta.
Mhm.
And on the dyno, on like the fourth pull, I pretty much sheared the pinion teeth all off, just like those were gone. So I had to swap to our 3.5 on the dyno, and that was the only 3.7 we had left. So at this point, with the amount of horsepower and torque we're getting, I'm only getting about maybe 3 rounds on a diff. And
Oh wow.
in 2020, I think we went through 4 diffs, and so they were holding up. But we ever since we put that other pulley on the supercharger and started spinning that thing to like 17 psi, just been going through diffs like crazy now. So
Yeah.
I mean, dude, honestly, I would still tell people go get a 3PTZ diff because they work.
Depends on your budget.
If
right?
if you're under 700 horsepower, that diff is like easy. It's going to get you through the day. Competitively, definitely a quick change is where it's at. But I didn't have the budget for that for the longest time. And so now with saving the pennies and Jackson like poking at me, telling me do this,
And he pokes at me too.
yeah.
Usually from the
So
back.
made that decision, and I really hope it doesn't bite me in the ass, but I don't think it will. The
Chris
guys
does that too.
at Sicky, they made the whole subframe, and so that all worked out pretty good. So now it's just up for the winners and the dry shaft shop axles to not
And-
bust.
and axles.
Oh,
too.
he
we
has something
got,
to say.
we got a
Go
good axle. We got good axles.
You got good axles now.
Before we were on stock
Yeah.
axles.
But what's good is now you're not going to worry about, because let me ask you something. Running that diff and knowing you've been through how many diffs each season, it's got to weigh on the back of your mind. Like, hey, I hope it holds up. So that's you can kind of forget
I'm
about
still
that
a
now.
little skeptic because I've watched,
Oh.
I want to say 3 people blow axles last year that had like the badass 1,500 horsepower or whatever they are supposed to be.
But the diff is good.
So
So, now you're not worried about the diff
The
anymore.
diff
Now
should
you're
be
gonna
good. Yeah.
now
The
you're worried about the axles.
I don't know. And Orlando is the one. So like Orlando's probably the worst track because what happens is you come off that bank and you put all the load to one tire.
Yeah.
So
and come into the infield.
let's just say you got 1,000 horsepower torque. It's going to both tires, right? So it's just 500. But yeah, you put it to one. So it's everyone knows if you put a tire up on the bank, you need to lift off a little bit or something, or you're just going to snap that sucker. That's just
Unless
how it used
you're
to be.
first time driving the bank, don't let off. Just saying. if you have under horsepower, don't let off.
No, if you're on the
I just want
infield,
to make sure.
from the
Oh, Jeff
infield.
Jones said don't let off on the bank.
infield.
Talking about from
Sorry.
the flat.
We call it
Sorry.
the apron.
From
Yeah.
the flat
Yeah,
apron.
yeah, okay.
And if you put the
It
one
potentially
tire
cause an
back
accident.
onto the bank, that's where if you're putting all your power to one, that's
Mhm.
where you'll break it.
Okay.
And so when I lost the whole, we're losing this thing again.
Hey, can you
when
fix
I
that?
lost
No,
the
do
whole
something.
tire
Gosh.
in Orlando,
I like
not
how
Orlando, where
he's
the hell
got it,
were
he's
we?
got it.
Orlando Speedway. When I lost a whole tire off, everyone saw that video. I had like
Yeah.
1 million views for a cool one. Lost the whole tire. That was because of just D-beating gone wrong. Like if there was a whole
Okay.
video, there should be a video of that, right? D-beating gone wrong.
You can probably find it.
Yeah, you could find that.
Oh, Vaughn had it. He
Yeah,
had
yeah,
one of
just
his
all
tires
kinds of
DB'd
tires.
in Road
What year
Atlanta.
was that? That was.
I don't know.
18.
Yeah.
OSW.
I
tried to
think
take
that's when you were spotting.
tried
We
to
lost
take
the whole
out
tire,
Greg.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
but anyways, that's what happens. You put all that horsepower and all that load to one tire. So that's what I'm scared of. I think once we get past Orlando and everything works there, then I'm not worried about any of the rest of the tracks.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
but once we get past that, yeah, going forward, I'm like pretty happy. I think we've gotten past all the points of breaking points, and I say that, and I know something's gonna break down, but
No, nothing's gonna break.
we've
We're
got a spare
solid.
for every single thing in there almost. We're prepared.
You
I've got
outspear
a
Jackson?
crew
You
that
can't
can
outspear
work.
Jackson.
Jackson knows how to yell at everybody. Him and Greg like to argue
Jack,
all
he
day
yells
long.
at people.
Oh yeah, him and Greg like
I can
see
they're
it.
best friends.
Well, I see him. Well, no, yeah, I guess you're right because I see
He's
him
got
yell
good
from-
practice.
He
He's
yells
got
at
his
you,
shop
right?
guys. He yells at Dave.
Well,
he yells at Mike.
You know why? Because you
Kyle.
haven't been.
It's just how I talk.
No. But
That's how I talk. Haven't you seen my
He
movies?
knows that's how I
No.
talk.
Well, you've known Chris for a while. Okay, I was typically you haven't been wrong long enough, but you've known Chris long enough that you.
Never
It doesn't.
That's how he talks.
You've never been wrong in his whole.
See, I've been mistaken a couple times.
He's
Never been
mistaken.
wrong.
Yeah.
He does.
okay.
Yeah, mistaken. Right. All right. So the car's dialed in. I mean, you feel confident. I mean, coming off a fourth place finish in
Yeah,
Road
I
Atlanta,
mean,
pretty excited.
I got to beat who arguably one of the best drivers in the world, right? And I think I beat him fair and square.
Again,
And so again, yeah. So
and
with
Freddie's
that,
a great guy. This isn't
no,
nothing.
he's a super
like,
cool guy. But being able to run someone like him and beat him,
Mhm.
and then Kearney, that badass Viper. So
Yeah.
we
and
we
they
went
drive
through
a
some
lot.
hard
I mean,
dudes.
Freddie's driving all year long,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's good.
So we're feeling really confident going into the next rounds.
Sweet.
For the whole year. And dude, we backed up our fourth place finish, like back to back. So when you think about like how many Pro 1 drivers even have a fourth place finish, like realistically, when you look at the field, there's only like this 1% that has trophies.
So you're in the 1%.
And the rest of them,
So you're-
I don't have a trophy yet.
No, but you're.
I think
getting
I'm
there.
in like that 10%.
you're gonna get a trophy,
I
but
think I'm in
you're
that 10% realm now.
Yeah.
So
The
yeah, I
five-
think the trophy's coming.
Maybe you're in the
Top three.
2%ers.
Trophy's
You get
coming,
fourth
bro.
place again. I'm making you a fourth place trophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll make you something. We'll
I'm
make
gonna
you
need a
something.
fourth place
We used to
trophy.
have fourth place trophy.
Yeah, yeah. We had to make
You said
fourth place
KP?
trophy for
Yeah, the
yeah.
KP trophy.
KP had to get. Yeah.
Make KP come out and dance for us. That'll be our
KP had
fourth-
his own zone. Like he had his own zone at a local track. Like it was
Oh,
the
boy.
KP zone that you had to watch where you went through.
Oh damn.
Yeah, there was stuff that would fly and hit you in the face. It was dangerous.
Yeah.
It was dangerous.
KP's house is dangerous.
KP
We had some
is dangerous.
some fun parties there. Was it last year? 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
No, 2 years.
Yeah, now he's like has guns and ammunition. Forget it.
Yeah, imagine this
no.
year's party.
Yeah. It's
Staying
gonna
away
be
from that one.
pretty serious, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Andy, what
Yep.
do you think? What you got? Any game plan different? I mean, it's different chassis,
Mm-hmm.
but you've driven it before.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your plans? I mean, obviously you still have some stuff to get done to this
drive
before it's
shaft
ready.
loop's got to go on, and
Practice is going to be key.
Yeah,
I think Andy's
yeah.
coming in no fucks given. And sorry, Brad.
We got 2 cars.
Yeah.
You know, drive it like you stole it because
Yeah.
it's really not your car,
Yeah,
right?
I mean that's how Brad drives it supposedly. So
He does.
I'm gonna drive it hard. Realistically, every time I've driven a 14, they've been really simple, easy cars to drive, and the E30 has been a tough car to drive over
Yes.
the years. So I feel like I'm still.
It's like you've been working out all this
Yeah,
time, like
yeah,
like
exactly.
Goku, and
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
now you're taking the weights off and
yeah,
you're gonna go at
I'm
it,
not
right?
swinging
Got
three
weights
bats. I'm
under
not
the
swinging
water.
3
Huh?
bats anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Honestly, like it's coming out to be one of the cheapest FD events I've ever done, even with the rental and all this stuff. Like
That's great.
it's really working out in that sense. But
So are you saying that you'll just rent a car from now on?
no?
Talked about this yesterday.
Maybe for Jersey.
If this thing goes on the podium,
If I win, I'm taking that thing to
Jersey.
Yeah.
So,
I'll take that fucker.
Maybe I'll take a little
What's that?
longer.
if you win, this is your car all year long.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll just buy it off.
Yeah.
Or maybe the E46 will just take a little
Yeah,
longer. Take your time on it, you know?
Yeah.
You find out
that's what
that
I did
the
with
stock
E30. I
T56
spent,
is the
2
thing?
years building that car. You know,
Yeah.
it was a long build. I learned how to weld on that car. I learned how to do plumbing. I learned everything on that
And that's
car.
where most of us learn, right? On our own cars
Yeah.
because we're too cheap to pay anybody.
I learned to pick
Or
apart.
a lot of times you can't find somebody that's going to do it right, right? Because
Yep.
sometimes you
Yep.
pay somebody thousands of dollars to do something,
That's my
and,
biggest pet
and they
peeve with the automotive
JB weld your
industry. It's
cage
like
in.
when I actually
I've
pay
seen
someone
that
to do a
before.
job,
I
and
know.
I
Haven't
trust
seen
them to
people
do a good
bring some
job.
JB welded
K-
I
K-
look at it, I'm like,
KP
I
actually
could
had
have
a
done
JB
that
welded cage.
better,
Yep.
like
Yeah.
myself.
Hey,
With the finger weave on the JB
Yeah.
weld to make it look
KP
like knives.
brought a car.
I swear to God, I seen it.
Damn.
I came to the shop and I had to fix it. Yeah.
KP's like, hey, can you fix this?
The
And he
whole
starts
cage
going
or
at it.
just parts?
No, like
Where it goes to the body, the
like,
actual
the
welded to the-
tube welded to the plate was JB Weld when somebody took their finger and like made dimes with their finger, like fingerprint and dime in each one.
Was that just like on the back section where it's hard to get to?
No, the whole thing.
Because I'm not gonna
Like,
lie,
there's some
I've
good
done that to
tacks.
Pass Tech one time.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, like Pro M days.
This is true confessions here.
You
Yeah,
gotta use the
yeah.
pinky finger, I guess. is
Yeah,
probably-
no,
I
like
don't
those
know.
Pro M days when you didn't know that you had to
Like
like
little
cut the
knife, make
hole
little
to lower the
lines.
cage or like
oh,
move it
right,
back.
right. And then put a
You
plate
like
in.
weld the whole thing and you're like, how am I supposed to get to that?
I can't get to the top.
Damn. So yeah, you get some little the JB weld or whatever.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, the
man.
liquid steel. Not liquid. What is that stuff you like smash together? The
Quick
clay, quick steel.
Oh,
quick
quick
steel.
steel, yeah.
Yeah, you
Quick
get the
steel.
quick steel, smash it, put it back there. Like you're not gonna get your
You
finger
should
back
do like
there.
an instructional. You should do like a how-to video, right?
Yeah.
They'll never know.
Yeah, they'll never know. They'll never know.
Nice.
Hopefully Kevin's not watching this.
Yeah. Oh, we're good
This
now.
is a long time ago.
I didn't do
That was
my
a long
cage.
time ago.
Yeah.
Richard
Okay.
Kong did most of my cage, so they can blame him. No.
We got a question from the chat
Uh-oh.
that reads from Lane Brantley. He writes, and we'll start off with it's for both drivers. We'll start off with Andy. Any inclinations for Andy or Jeff to compete in the Clutch Kicker series?
Yes, I really wish it was closer. If it was in the neighborhood, if it was within like 5 to 10 hours of me, I'd be there every round. That didn't conflict with other stuff going on, obviously. But the fact that it's so far away and that if we get all the way out there and we do end up winning, we'll probably just pay for our trip.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
Chris has a two-car trailer,
Yeah.
and he possibly might be.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to use the E92, and then we can throw Bradley's car in there.
Let's do it.
You just got to arrive and drive.
Let's do it.
Then
I mean,
gotta
that's
stop-
the dream, right?
you gotta Stop
Yeah.
Bradley from driving then.
Yeah, Jackson, you can answer
Well-
my part of that question.
Yeah. So my whole plan is to finish my car and have Jeff drive it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrive
Jeff
and
has
drive.
this
You've almost there.
Jeff has
You're
this
almost
thing in his
there.
mind that he will not compete in a pro car against non-pro cars.
But the thing is I'll tell you right now. Look at Ben Julian took it last time. He didn't have a pro car,
Yeah.
so you don't need a pro car. The
Well,
track is tight.
I mean, at this point, I've beaten Osbo in my car.
It's
right?
it. It's done.
It's only
And
for pros now.
There's this awesome thing happening that people are finally considering me a pro.
Oh,
Right?
really? No.
Yeah. Some people are like, oh, he's
the
no
pros
longer
are
an
considering
underdog.
you a pro, maybe,
Maybe, I don't know.
because everybody
But-
else thought you were.
But
you know.
no, like I would go against any of the Pro 2 guys. They got awesome cars. I mean, I don't know. Clutch Kickers is quickly changing into more pro cars, though, right?
Right.
But last year when I watched it, I was like, you know what? Because I saw Chelsea compete in somebody's borrowed car.
The Drift
I
HQ car, yeah.
saw-
Duarte's car.
Alec Hollandale compete in like almost
Brief.
what stock look through.
Mhm.
So I think if a pro guy were to hop in there, I think something like Brad's car here would be awesome. Like that's a
Yeah.
stock T56.
Well, Ben
make
Julian
500
won his
horsepower.
Miata.
I think that's a very good like car for a pro guy to hop into
Mhm.
and run that. I think what Jackson's building that I'm going to run is probably still higher than it should be for that class, but I think by the time it's done and I get in there, the rest of Clutch Kickers may be half of that. But I would hate to come in there with like a full pro car and then people be
Like you've had Adam
just
run a
pissed
pro
and
car.
upset.
Well,
There's a few
Taylor
people
Hall.
doing
I'll say
that.
this.
You've
That's
had
Adam and Taylor
Kevin
Hall.
Lawrence.
Yeah.
No, Kevin Lawrence.
Kevin Lawrence.
Alec
Brandon
Hunterdale
McDowell.
he ran his pro car,
Brandon
didn't he?
McDowell.
Yeah, yeah.
Brandon, yep.
I'll say this
Brandon
though. A lot of the people who are complaining are the people who aren't driving.
Yeah.
The people who are driving are ecstatic to drive with pros in their pro cars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody
Because-
complains. None of the
because
drivers
it's
complain.
like, what kind?
Well,
where else are you
all
going to
right.
get that experience?
Second to that, the 8 rounds that we already do in the pro car is a lot.
Yeah.
And we usually start falling short right at Irwindale.
Right.
Like every single car in the paddock at Irwindale is being wrenched on like crazy because
Mhm.
Right.
all of the cars, by the time you're at your 8th round, probably your 200th to 300th lap is put in work.
Mhm.
Right.
So to go do a Clutch Kickers event in the pro cars, I think that would just be a lot more stress. Maybe not needed for that car.
Right. No, I
So-
agree
You
with.
wouldn't have to have it like completely kill mode either. Like, you know.
Do you ever not put the car in kill mode?
Not for
This dude
on
wants
the
me to
drift.
do like 8 psi and like an inch of toe in from like the gate.
And what happened? When we started, what happened when we started doing that?
Yeah,
What
he,
happened?
he told me that too. When he came back, he's finally started listening to me, and now
Yeah.
we're winning.
What happened when we started doing that?
Is he right? Is he right?
Got fast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
right out the
happened?
gate. Got fast.
Got fourth
Started
place.
working, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man.
But you can see, what you're saying. Round 7 and 8 last year at Irwindale was everybody was breaking their cars. I
Mhm.
mean,
We blew a motor.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
You guys.
And that
blew
was
them
just
all.
due to a freaking wiring, just a wiring clip going to the crank angle sensor went bad.
Yeah.
And so, it's something as fatigued as wiring.
Yeah.
Right now on the dyno, we just found out that we had a relay going bad. And so we were on one fuel pump all of Atlanta.
Oh wow.
I wouldn't say
So,
all of Atlanta. We didn't go back. And look.
well, we don't know the logs, but like we know from the Osmo battle on, that's at least 6 hard full laps where we were at like running 13-to-1
Is that what was
air
going
fuel
on
ratio.
in the dyno?
So
It wasn't the fuel.
That was one of them. That was the fuel.
Oh, was
One
it
fuel
Yeah.
pump was not
So-
gone, we found out.
Okay.
things are getting fatigued. I would
like-
definitely like to have another car. If I
Yeah.
were to do,
Sounds like you're
I mean,
gonna
if we
have
just went and did one, to mess around, like if it happened to fall in
Mhm.
between this, maybe we could do it.
Mhm.
But to want to do the whole series,
Well,
that would
right,
definitely
but
be hard on a
you
car.
only really need to like win a 1 or 2. That's more you're gonna ever make at FD. Just saying, you
It's,
win 2 as 20 grand, right?
it's
and if
not a lie, but there's no guarantee you're going to win that. There's no guarantee.
no, there's no guarantee in anything,
Yeah.
right? There's no guarantee in anything, but it could happen.
I think, nah, man, those guys aren't making any money at Clutch Kickers. There's maybe this small dude. Who's the guy who just won?
Ben Julian.
Ben
Yeah, he
Julian?
probably didn't spend much money, but I guarantee you,
Yeah.
Alec, Taylor, all those guys probably spent $5,000 to be there.
Yeah.
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 So
Profit
unless,
$5,000.
assuming you won, and if you won, you probably spent more than $5,000 to be there.
Well, okay. Let me put this: they don't lose as much.
Yes, they don't lose as much.
They
Maybe
don't walk- they don't
maybe
walk
they
away,
walked
but
away.
they don't lose as
even.
much.
You just might break even.
They might break
That's
even,
the
right?
prize.
That's
don't
the
lose as
problem.
much.
Like with
Yeah.
Formula D, with sponsors, you can at least guarantee you're not losing your ass. Because I never tell a sponsor, "Hey, I'm going to win this."
Mhm.
I just like, "Hey, I'm going to go there. I'm going to do some stupid stuff. I'm going to have some fun. I'm going to give you some content for your personal media outlet. Your
Right.
bragging rights." But it's never like, "Hey, I'm going to go there and win. So give me all the money."
Well, there's some
Right.
drivers that aren't
There are
really
some-
winning that are getting massive like backing too.
Oh, that's
for
the
for a
point.
year.
That's
Huh?
the point, though. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not to tell them I'm gonna win everything. It's more about like I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna represent you, and we're gonna have fun doing it, and people are gonna like
Yeah.
what we
Yeah.
have.
But
to
to
show
your
them.
point, drivers that tell their sponsors that that they're going to go out and kill it and get the money, and they don't kill it,
Right.
They don't last long.
Right.
And how many drivers in Formula D do you see come and go? Like
Well,
I have been in Formula D since 2009, and it wasn't until 2 years ago where I started using a credit card, and I use a credit card like an ATM card. Like if I don't have the money, I don't use it. I
Okay.
only use it to build the points and build the
Right.
credit because I'm trying to be an
For
adult
miles,
just
for
a little
miles.
bit.
Yeah.
Right. I started drinking IPAs.
What?
My adulthood. I
man.
stopped putting sugar in my
You
coffee.
listen to like hipster music and stuff now.
Start
don't you?
taking
You go
the
to
paper
coffee.
off the cheese sandwiches.
I don't know about hipster music, but I,
Yeah, you do.
back and
When you're by
forth. I listen to
yourself.
some random shit. Yeah.
See, there you go. You got
Yeah.
to mix it up.
But no, you can burn bridges, and I think people don't realize how small the world is in automotive.
Mhm.
Like you can tell one guy, "Yeah, I'm gonna freaking kill it. I'm gonna win everything," and then like they give you a bunch of money, and then they're like, "Hey, you didn't kill it. We're like not paying you anymore."
Right,
And
because
you're
you're
like,
contingent
"Whatever."
on you
And
winning.
then a year or two down the line, you're like trying to sell this same BS story somewhere else,
Mm-hmm.
and find out that guy's friends with that guy or he now works there. Because like a marketing manager usually is a marketing manager, and they just bounce around different companies.
Okay.
So that's actually how I've gotten a few sponsorships, just because a buddy, you become buddies with them and they moved on to somewhere else.
Networking. Yeah.
So yeah, networking. So usually that method of telling people I'm going to kill it, I'm going to go win everything, and they give you a lot of money, only works for like 1 or 2 years, and then you've burnt bridges, and then you've kind of ruined it for the rest of the sponsorships going forward as well.
Mhm. Right.
Because that's definitely been a thing where you call someone, you're like, "Yeah, man, would love to do some sponsorship networking with you guys," and they're like, "Nah, we tried drifting before. Those guys, they didn't do anything."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a
Because
lot of
you're building up
terrible-
false hope in something
Yeah.
that you can't guarantee, and then when you
Yeah.
don't come through,
Even in pro, there's like a lot of terrible drivers that don't fulfill
Mhm.
the minimal obligation. Like
Right.
it's simple to just find a photographer. There's awesome guys that are always there. There's Walter, Larry Chen, Alex. Like there's a ton of guys, and you just go over there and make a deal with them. Say, "Hey, dude, give
Yeah.
you a couple $100 around."
got Robert Goodwin too. He's
Most
always
of these
taking
guys-
pictures.
Yep.
Yep.
They'll You know, they'll probably do like 20 or $50 for a couple pictures, and then you just start sending those things out. But I've like worked with companies that are like, oh wow, you actually send photos after the event. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of normal.
Because it's a
They're like,
relationship.
oh
You're
no,
trying
we've
to
been
keep that
working with this
relationship.
dude for 10 years and we haven't seen anything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, bro, that's the most basic thing is to just prove that you were there.
Okay, so let's
I don't know.
kind of tag on that. I'm gonna start with you, Andy.
Mhm.
When you started, well, you've been pro for a while.
Mhm.
So what was the hardest part for you to learning how to develop a program, right, to submit to sponsors and try to get money?
Well, that's changed a lot over the
It
years
has.
because when I got into it, there was no YouTube, there was no Facebook, it was
Yeah, that really
MySpace,
changed the game.
You
Yeah,
know,
MySpace,
and that really changed how sponsors look at you because back then they didn't look at your social media because there was no social
Right.
media. So they're looking at the racing series you do, they're looking at the information you provide about the series, you
And
know,
how many attendance
yeah,
in
how
the
many
series,
attendance,
right?
all that stuff. And back then they were on CBS Sports back in the day.
Oh,
Were they on?
for
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so that was
Oh,
like
I
that was a
still
good
watch
shoe in
Dave.
for the sponsorship thing, but
Dave!
yeah, it's changed so much over the
Just
years
water,
that
please?
like now it's a lot about social media and about
Right.
how many
there
followers
a
you
sink
have and
there?
stuff
Right.
like that, and a lot of times you can come to the table without a lot of skill but a whole lot of following and you're going to do just fine,
Right.
because
You
that's
get
what they care
exposure,
about.
right.
You're putting you're doing the company's good. You're putting their product in front of a lot of people's eyes. That's really all they're after.
So how did you have to change your? Because so you started from when you started
Well,
before.
I got a Facebook.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's one
Yeah,
step.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you just had to constantly upgrade your.
Yeah, you're just constantly sort of staying with the times, and fortunately, that's kind of what.
Do you have a TikTok?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Do you have a Snapchat?
No.
Yeah,
No.
what about your OnlyFans?
OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Okay.
you gotta have an OnlyFans.
yeah,
$5 a month?
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I just go on there and show them my butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I figured.
Yeah,
Standard
just my butt.
standard OnlyFans. Thing.
Yeah, just a picture of my butt, 24/7.
24/7.
Funds the
It's the
whole
butt
program.
cam. We
Yeah,
have the
yeah.
Andy cam.
Funds the whole program.
Yeah, yeah.
Funds the whole program. Okay, so
Yeah.
what about for you, Jeff?
Definitely OnlyFans.
From the time
All
you
that stuff.
What
I,
did anybody come alongside you guys to help you
I-
develop a
I
program?
have a. Let's see. I'll make this story short. I have luckily the guy that I do that I work for doing concerts, staging. This dude lived an amazing life. Rich Bartle, it's like second dad to me. This guy was a crew manager for Motley Crue at one point, tour manager. Just crazy things. Owned a club, owned a nightclub. Worked with Gibson Guitars, and was like one of their guys who would find their artists. And so basically, working with him from rock and roll, he taught me how to be more of a front man. Like, hey, when you're in front of a crowd, you like hold your guitar like this and you do that. So yeah, all that stupid stuff like the dance, like all that funny, charismatic thing.
Yeah.
So when it first came time, basically in Pro-Am, I brought home a third place trophy from Top Drift. And I was like, dude, I got a trophy this weekend. It was awesome. And at the time, drifting for him, he didn't even know I really did it at the time. But he saw that. He's like, oh, sweet. You need to start working on some sponsorships, man. You're actually winning some stuff. That's cool. Because at first he just thought I was doing illegal things, which I was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now it's not as.
we all
now it's-
were.
it's
and
half
as it,
and half.
and as it became, realistic, he started to teach me, that stuff. And so he was more from the rock and roll perspective, which is the same thing.
A lot of those not the mentality, but those practices you can carry over to your program.
And so once that started, we were able to reach out to Sarah and Vega, was one of my first big sponsorships.
Really?
Yeah. The Sarah and Vega, the like car speakers, the DJ speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prior to that, I had like Anthony's Tires was like a local tire shop that would give me scrubs, right? Everyone's got that guy. Action Clutch, who I'm actually sponsored with now, was like the first sponsorship that ever gave me anything for free. They gave me a clutch like way back in the day. But Sarah and Vega was my first like corporate, like how do we even talk to these people kind of thing. So I remember like writing out this like whole email. And funny enough with them at the time, a lot of people don't realize how it works with sponsorships. And this is how it really should work is back then they gave me $3,000 cash, which was great, but not a lot of money at all. And this was like a title sponsor, but they gave me $3,000 cash to go do Pro-Am events, which is amazing. But they also paid to wrap my car, which was probably another $2,500 to $3,000 at the time. They like did the artist work for it. They paid to have it wrapped. And then they paid someone to do videos for me. So I think I did like 2 videos. And these videos were pretty terrible to today's standards, but awesome for then. And so that happened. And then I ran with them for like a year. And then the company got sold. And so this happens a lot also. Marketing people all got changed over. The company got changed over. But I remember talking to their media company that they worked with. I don't know if it's like what you'd call it, media company, but just some type of
production
what
or
would
whatever.
be someone that runs Instagram now, kind of a thing, like their
Okay.
manager.
Social media.
So
Social media.
kind of. So I called them. I was like, hey, so you guys used to do the media stuff, and this was like back when it was all magazines and print. And so I talked to them like, hey, so how do I like pay you guys to be my marketing people?
Mhm.
And they were, well, let's see what you did. We work with Sarah and Vega, and so they ran your advertisements with us for 6 months. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. So like, how do I tell a sponsor that you guys work for me? They're like, well, how it works is you pay us. I think at the time it was like a minimum of $6,000 a month, and it had to be a minimum of 6 months. I was like, wait, what? I
Wow.
was like, so that's what Sarah and Vega paid you? They're like, yeah. They're like, you're huge in Germany right now. I was like, what? How the hell? So yeah, and so that was kind of me dropping the ball because I didn't know how it worked at the time, but I quickly learned that's what sponsors should be doing, right? Like our sponsors. So this is what I tell most of my guys now. When I walk into talk to most of the people I work with, I always say, hey man, it's great that you're gonna like give me a clutch or give me like a rim, but unless you use the material that we give back to you, it's kind of a dead end story. Like, don't expect me to take your clutch and it just bring you all the business. You need to use us as the bragging rights. You need to say, hey, our product is on this vehicle and this vehicle is kicking ass over here. So it's a two-sided story. And I learned that from the Sarah and Vega thing that like, wow, they went and spent all this money on the back end. And that's really how this should work. Because a lot of times when you talk to sponsors, they're like, hey, so can you give me, let's just say $100 a round or $1,000 a round. If they're giving you that, they should be spending that on the back end on you as well, also on their own marketing. If it's their entire marketing budget is just pushed onto you, it's probably going to fail in the long term.
Right.
So hopefully they're producing something cool on the back end, like
Right, 'cause
paying
they
for
have-
videos.
Right.
Something.
They already have the people in place and the production people in place. They could do a better job at it than you can, right? So, and it's in their best interest to make it the best it can be.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah,
I
that's
knew that.
very interesting. I never saw it that way.
No.
Where it's not just investing in your program, but investing in themselves through you, which is that's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, you go into AutoZone, and you see a NASCAR driver up there. That's the company spending money to
Their own money.
Yeah, their own money on them. You know, promoting their product because, hey, we got this guy and look what he's doing with our
It's like
product.
almost they really just need somebody to put some clothes on, right?
So
And be out there.
it's really like you got to watch out with the sponsorship stuff. I mean, I know when you're first getting into it, you just hope that you get anything and you're excited because someone gave you something and you throw it in your car. But at the same time, you got to think about, and maybe this doesn't apply to a guy at his local event, but for me and Andy, and guys who I think maybe are listening to this want to go to Clutch Kickers or something and expand on what they're doing. If you get a product and you put that sticker on your car and you're hoping that they're going to give you something for, let's say, a year or two, realistically, all they've got to do is take 100 pictures of your car with that sticker on it for that one event. They now have material for years.
Right.
And did you sign a contract for your likeness for years? So when you've moved on to the next company, that old company is still blowing you up if they're doing it right. So this is where you kind of got to say, hey, man, this is just knowing the homework and knowing the knowledge of when you come in and say, you tell them this. You're like, hey, man, this is why I'm not going to let you just put a sticker on my car for $100.
Right.
You know, you got to have some self-value on why you're going to let them put a sticker on your car because they can run with that forever.
Right.
And you want them to run that forever, but it's got to be
Give
working back and forth. And honestly, this is just a lot of my talk from learning over the years because I definitely did it wrong for a long time.
Well, everybody's going to do it wrong, but that's why if you start watching through every show we put out, you'll notice one of the questions I ask everybody is about this, building a program and what it takes, because this is what there are a lot of people. Every time you go, let's say an event like Clutch Kickers, 80% of the field wants to go pro.
Yeah.
And they're looking for that. And being able to get this advice and save yourselves time, you were lucky you had somebody that kind of at least open your eyes a little bit to what to expect and how to organize yourself.
Yeah. So Rich got me involved in like how to, network and how to be the front man. I actually turned to my brother, Greg, who doesn't know much about cars at all, but is just a business person. So when it came down to like, hey, how do I write this email to this guy and not sound like a idiot 20-year-old.
Please give me
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, hey dude, like give me some stuff that'd be
It'd be
fucking
really
rad.
cool.
I just like was, hey Greg, like this company said hi, like they'll actually accept an email basically at this point. How can we write to something? And then he would use all these big words at the time. I was deliverables, ROI, simple stuff that people kind of know now, but at the time I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that means. What does ROI mean? What does deliverables? All just. And he would look at me. He's like, well, why would they want to give you this? Because I'm cool.
Right.
And then he would explain
You're a drifter,
why this would work, and it's like why a company would want to do that. So if you have someone in your family or a friend who at least has proper grammar and put together a good email, because I cannot.
Nope.
I literally talk into my phone and then hand it to my wife and say, can you fix this?
You have an editor.
Yeah, do this all the time.
You download it?
Download an app.
Grammarly.com.
Oh,
yeah. And so doing
There's an
simple
app for
things
that.
like that, that's a big thing. And then one of the things that I learned a lot from is when I actually did get sponsored by Doc.
Okay.
So that's like a product through Pepsi, WizPack. That was one of my biggest sponsors. That was kind of like Seren Vega, but like I said, Seren Vega only lasted 1 year in Pro-Am. So I learned some from them, but I learned a lot from Doc because I got to work with Zach, who is their actual like marketing manager dude who does their stuff, and so we got to have a lot of conversations on how to make our material go further.
Right.
Like, so it wasn't just about making a video; it was about actually spending the extra $5 to promote the video. They would spend a lot more, but I would only spend,
Yeah. Boost
chump
it.
change.
$5. Okay.
But actually, making sure that the photographers are paid, making sure we have deliverables. So there was that. And I think that's when I started learning a lot more stuff. So I think that's when people started paying attention to me more. I think that's definitely when like Andy was helping me out, and we were double dipping on Pro 2 and getting trophies. So that's what helped with bring Doc in. They saw me get Orlando Trophy in Pro 2. That's how that worked out.
So
And that was another situation where they emailed me and like, hey Jeff, are you accepting sponsorships right now? I was like, how do I say fuck yeah super fast? I was like,
How much you got?
I was like, I better let Greg answer this. Hey dude. Yeah. So yeah, that
Nice.
worked out. And that literally turned in from a 12-pack in Jersey into a 4 or 5 year title sponsorship thing that had some
wow.
growth. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now they're taking a different step, so we're doing some different things. But that had like some serious growth into it.
I tried to get you in. I tried to get you in with Bang because I
Bangity Bangity?
Yeah, because I did some work for the owner. Because he lives in Weston.
I think Bang is just in the chicks dancing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they ship
Yeah.
their chicks everywhere.
I don't know
yeah,
if they're actually in the race cars.
Well, I never actually got to get
I'm
back
alright
in touch
with
with him.
Yeah,
He does.
yeah.
It's been
I
good advertising.
I think
Yeah.
my wife unfollowed them on my Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's definitely way too many chicks just dancing butt cheeks. Like, no, unfollow.
unfollow.
Yeah. We had this game for a while when I would follow models and she would unfollow them. I was like, but I gotta follow them. They're part of the
That's funny.
tire team or they're part of the thing.
Yeah.
So
Nope. No, you
no,
don't.
she wins.
Now,
No.
as far as like this whole like, you just gave out a whole lesson on sponsorships. And
Yeah, I'm
how
sorry.
It can work. No, it's great. It's great. Why do you think, or are there any Pro-Am series that are trying to pass that information on to their drivers, where that way they can take the next step into Pro Spec?
I
or
can only
Pro?
speak for one local one. I imagine Jackson does that for his, but by us we have the Drift League, and their whole intention was to do something like that. That's why they were competing at Irwindale, spending a ton of money trying to give the drivers actual.
too.
Southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Nick. Who was that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
he's a cool guy.
I don't know if they're still doing it, but in 2016 when I did it, we had an event in Colorado, we had 2 in Arizona and 1 in Las Vegas. So you got the traveling, you got that whole experience as to like what it would be like to run it, and you don't really get that if you're running like a series that just runs all at the same track and it's 5 minutes away from you.
Yeah, and it's hard to say. It's not their job to teach everyone. I think
No, it's not.
some Pro-Ams take it upon themselves to help.
Yeah.
The smaller dudes coming up, amateurs. I think some pro guys like myself for sure, and I know Andy's always helping out people. Some of us just want to give back more. There's some
Right.
pro guys I'd never see at the track,
Right.
never see talking to people.
Right.
Yeah.
You're like, how the hell's that guy even still around? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everybody has, I guess, different personalities, but a lot of times it comes down to personality. Some people, they're sponsored and everything, maybe just don't have that personality.
How do
where
these
they
sexy legs look behind me is what I
it
want to know.
looks pretty good. Looks
Yeah.
like- I think you guys are going to do a backward shoulder ride in a minute, right? Maybe backward shoulder. Oh, see the tan lines.
See, it should say Chris
If you feel
Jackson
something hitting
right
the back
here.
of your neck,
Yeah.
Is
you
that
know.
a Sharpie?
We're gonna
Is that
have
what
to
you call it?
We're gonna have to
Sharpie?
put this for not for children anymore.
Yeah.
Not for children.
Demonetized.
I have a question in regards to the marketing, but sort of like a different aspect of it. Andy, how's the impact of having your car in the game in regards to marketing? Obviously, your car.
It was
there.
interesting because I only had about 2 weeks once they decided that the car was going in to try and find a sponsor to get on the car to be in the game. So it was extremely difficult to call up random companies and say, hey, give me a bunch of money, but we have to do this right now,
Right.
Because it had to happen within a few weeks. So it wasn't as impactful as you'd think because all the logos are already on the car. So it's already done its due diligence. Unless I can go in there and actually have the guys at Microsoft change the livery of the car, I'm not really helping anybody than what is actually on the car.
That's kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
awesome for your
I
name
had 2
though.
weeks to figure it out. It was tough. I was calling video game companies. I was going way outside the box because I had a different demographic. So you need literally months.
You need like
to,
6 months to pull off something.
But even driving an E30, because do you find that one, because you obviously stick out in the crowd in the field, but then it's also not a newer car, right? Was that easy or hard? Did you find any challenge trying to get sponsored with that car?
No, it actually made it a little bit easier because it's kind of got a cult following throughout the world. I was talking to a buddy about this. You guys could argue the point, but I believe it's the most molested car on the entire planet. It's had V12s. They've been electric ones. There's been rotary ones. There's been V10. There's been inline six.
K24, K-swapped.
K24, K-swap. What other car do you know that's had more stuff thrown in the engine bay?
S chassis is about. I don't know.
Is there an electric one? Is there a V12 one?
I don't know.
There's
That's a
an
good question
electric
because the
86.
V12, you got a good point on that.
We had this talk like 2 days ago.
Yeah, I've driven that electric 86 actually. It's an awesome
yeah.
car. It's my buddy Omid's. Yeah, that thing drives great. It's still got the 5-speed in it, so it feels like a real car.
Yeah, I think all electric cars should have a manual transmission.
Yeah, it actually feels all right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't challenging in the sense that there was so many people that were into the car. So when I hit up the my body kit manufacturer, he's, oh my god, yeah, you're building one for this? Cool.
Right.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So it was easy in the sense that there's so many cult people just around the world that are interested in the car, and I felt like a lot of the companies that I sort of had luck with, they had sort of a direct attachment to the car,
right?
Besides the whole marketing thing.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that made it a little bit easier, and it made it easier in the sense that it's the only one there. Or it was until Red Baron came out there. You jerks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that made it kind of easy, and it was just a standout car, so you couldn't miss it. And everybody that got on board was pretty happy with it.
So who are your current sponsors?
Right now we're sort of switching up for the E46. Okay. So the E46 we have Super Doof on board, 2F Performance. We're still with Comp Cam, still with RHS, still with Clutch Masters. We've switched over. We've actually picked up sponsorship from Stop Tech now, so we're running all Stop Tech brakes on the car. And RTS has been helping us out for years and years. He always does our transmission rebuilds, the diff rebuilds, everything. He's amazing. If you're building cars, you need to have a relationship with him. Yeah. Like if you're doing anything in this industry and you're building high dollar, high horsepower stuff, he's the guy to talk to.
I got a question for both of you guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
Nope.
If you could think like your whole drifting career, because you guys both have several years in it, was there one pivotal moment in both of your guys' experience or career in drifting that you were like this close to just saying, screw it, I'm going to grow tomatoes?
No. Yeah, I just keep going.
You ever thrown your helmet on the ground like really mad?
Oh, I've done that before.
No, I'm saying
but it doesn't mean I'm going to quit.
But I'm saying like at that moment,
to me, I grew up skateboarding, so like it wasn't like if I ate shit on a handrail, I was going to quit skateboarding. Like I almost broke my knee one time, and I used a fan cleaner as a clutch and went to a party that night, and then skated 2 weeks later.
There you go.
Like I was, it's just you live and you do what you love and you follow your passion, and if you're not willing to go through all those steps and smash your body or do whatever to pursue your passion, then it ain't your passion.
That's good.
This is not.
Yeah, right.
Or you're not passionate. And there's certain people that just aren't passionate about anything. And
I've seen people like at that boiling moment at tracks where it's just like
that's the thing, man. When you're,
what do you think?
I was gonna say
I've been there 1,000 times, but it's never crossed my mind to not do it anymore.
I've almost been there financially.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
It's never been like a wreck or anything like the work. It's always been this is financially tough and hard. And I think the year just before Doc got on board, I was like, am I gonna keep doing this every year? Because I think that year there was a change in sponsorships. I think through like Hankook or Nexon or something, and so it didn't have a tire sponsor.
You want to sit in my lap?
No, I'm gonna make
Didn't have didn't have the ball rolling on a lot of things,
Right.
and financially wasn't ready to run another year. And my truck had broken down. I had that old '95 F350 diesel that was like breaking down on me everywhere. And that was probably my toughest year. But that was more of like a, man, do I keep doing this or only run a couple of events and then just push through? And luckily, it was more of like, what do you say? Like either back off or
Right.
get into it even deeper.
Right. It was at that moment, right?
And
You
so
can
at
get-
that moment, it's like I got into it even deeper.
Okay.
And so I think that's where it started to
Put
pay
your
off.
cards on the table.
And
Yeah.
so maybe I wasn't in it deep enough from
Mhm.
the get-go.
Oh,
so yeah, no, my wife will always tell you, that I pretty much messed around my first few years, but we had super limited budget. I was paying for
Right.
everything with myself. Like I
Yeah.
had CX Racing as a title sponsor. That was
Mhm.
like nothing. That
Right.
was just, they like hooked up a motor and took care of small things. It was no
Right.
title that like today's
It was just
would
their
have
name all
been
over your
just a
car.
very tiny sticker on a car.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what the hell I was doing with them, really.
Right.
That was still the learning curve of things.
Yep.
Mhm.
And but blessed that they helped me out with what they did. They got me in the V8 direction. But yeah, that's where I wish I would have pushed harder from the get go.
Yeah.
And that was more my shit or get off the pot moment kind of
Okay.
thing, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Maybe
So
that's-
that moment, it wasn't ever a wreck though. Like Andy said about that, like
Yeah.
you fall, you get
Yeah,
right
you
back
fall,
up.
you get back up.
Get back up.
Never had
There's
an
a point
impact
at
or
which you
something.
decide to like take it more seriously or not. And I know what you're talking about with that because like when I got the D1 license like way back in the day, I was like, what do I do now? Like I have a stock 350Z and I have a professional drifting license. Like I guess I should build the Z. Like so I put a turbo kit on it and did a wide body and stuff, and picked up a little sponsorship from Chris from Motorride back in the day. Yeah, and yeah, it just you follow your path, you
Yeah.
know.
Now, kind of go back to your point, what you advice you have to. Von Gittin does this really well, right? He's that other person on screen. He's the other person when people around. So he not says he's not being genuine, but he amplifies his personality in order to be that front man.
Mhm.
Are you working on that, or is this something that comes
pumped and
natural? Because
stoked.
that's a hard thing to
Pumped
do.
and stoked.
Because it's a hard thing to do. If you're very chill, like I'm a very relaxed person, so
Yeah.
for me to come out and be like, yeah, woo, and all this other stuff, that's not me.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
First off, I need to
What do you
express
think?
how much I did not like Vaughn. There was a time where I got into drifting and was super pumped and stoked that he won the what was that?
D1 versus
D1 versus
USA
US.
versus
Oh,
New
right,
Man.
right,
I
right.
was like super happy for
Yeah.
him. But
Jumping
then
on the roof of the
moving
Mustang.
forward, I had a misunderstanding of who his character was, and I think he's also definitely changed. He was like top of his game, killing it everywhere. But at the time, I felt like he was, and I called this to his face. I said he was a douchebag at the time,
mhm.
and not that I regret that. We've definitely had our back and forth bickering at the moment. But over the last 5 years, that dude has changed a lot.
Mhm.
And my perspective on what you need to do as a driver and a team owner
Mhm.
has changed a lot. So I realized more that I was wrong when he was being that guy and like being
Right.
that front man, and maybe he just didn't have time to hang out with all the local pro-am guys, and maybe he
Right.
didn't have time to fucking
Mhm.
talk to me like I wanted to.
Right.
Because at the time I was like, why isn't this asshole talking to me? Because I talk to everyone,
Mhm.
Right.
but didn't realize he had 5 videos to film and things to do. And
Right.
now I'm kind of getting to that point where people think that I'm being a dick because I film usually 3 videos at each FD
Mhm.
round, or I've got things that me and Jackson got to work on because we're trying to win an event, So
Mhm.
I have fans who probably think I'm a dick now. And so just to what you were saying about Vaughn,
Mhm.
I didn't used to appreciate how hard that guy works. And now I understand how hard he works and appreciate that. So, and that's,
Okay.
so that's what I'm more trying to replicate
Right.
in my own, self.
Mhm.
I've always been a character. I think just the last few years, the character has kind of come more out,
Yeah.
just being me, not necessarily trying to be a business guy or just upfront, just being
Just a louder version
No,
of you.
they took him
A
off his
louder
meds
version.
a couple
Oh,
years
they
ago.
took- oh, that was the
Yeah.
key. That was the key.
Yeah.
Well, and Jackson, hang out. Jackson, he'll either drive you crazy or some other stuff.
I drive
Yeah.
too crazy.
Does that,
But in a
does
good
that
way.
show like Instagram videos or things?
Does it show Instagram
Yeah,
videos?
Can you bring those up?
I don't know.
Are you
Can-
on like
uh,
Wi-Fi?
He could,
Uh,
but
Is that
just
a
give
thing?
me.
Or can we do it on my phone?
No, you'd
wanna
have to
show
tell
something.
him. You'd have to tell him. Is it on your Instagram page?
Have you guys seen the Insider, Drift Insider?
He's not answering my question.
Drift Insider?
Yeah.
No.
FD interview stuff.
FD, yeah.
On YouTube?
They said I look like Alonzo in that.
On
Something
YouTube.
you can bring up for a new one.
Well, how? Yeah, you can bring up YouTube stuff, but you'd have to tell him where to look.
Bring up the Formula D Insider.
So, oh, you want to send that up?
I got a surprise I want to show.
Do I look good?
Oh, surprise?
Yeah.
Is my makeup okay?
Let me trade with Jackson real quick.
Yeah. Want my
Oh,
shadow?
Jack. You got a surprise. You got to come over here.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh. Why is this seat all wet?
He's been farting.
Is that on Insider?
Inside Cliff returns. Is that where we're going?
Shirt.
Should be yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
You want interviews or actual
It's
footage?
warm.
It's they just put it on Instagram. Here, I'll just play.
Well, he's
it.
on YouTube. Well, he
I'll
can't.
just play it.
But you can't, you're not going to see it. Nobody's going to see
You
it.
can hear it though.
Play it.
Is this it
I
here?
think when you
Here,
hear
come
it,
over here. Look. Is that
Send
it?
to drift sessions.
That's it. That's okay. Do you want to play it?
People hear?
They should be able to hear it.
Yep, they can hear it.
You guys go through like an OBS style kind of thing to stream it, or what do you guys use?
Yeah.
He's the captain. I have no idea.
It's OBS.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I use to do the Twitch stuff and.
Can we hear?
No, there's no way.
Oh, that's
No.
I don't have speakers set up.
Yeah.
watching?
In my house, I have a TV set up so we can watch it together while.
Oh, that's
Oh.
cool.
All right. Will you play that? And I'll
Now
play
looks
this.
forward to round 2
Hold
in
on.
Orlando, and
Probably gonna-
totally, since
Go
there's a very different
to-
course layout from Atlanta.
What?
Go to minute.
Is it gonna play the audio
26.
twice
Minute
now?
26. Minute 126.
126.
Yeah.
Getting confusing.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah. I got a special surprise.
Okay. All right.
The round in third place, while the 370Z driver once again proved
Well, where's that
that
at?
he will be a force
Where's
to
the
be
mic
reckoned
at?
with this season and secured another season finishing fourth.
I'm gonna have to do that. No, I can do that. I can take care of that.
He mentioned, I no longer have to wear all the hats, and that's a big weight off my shoulders. Now I can think of more important things at the line. Like, what makes the bigger mess on your fingers? Cheetos or Funyuns?
You said that?
He's a nut. And during the second round only, you'll see a modified sponsor
Definitely
on his
Cheetos,
car
dude.
in Orlando, and he's putting his crew chief, Chris Jackson's shop,
car?
Jackson Performance, on the door. He explained Doc is still on board,
Yeah,
but
buddy.
step back
Oh,
as a
that's
title
what's up.
sponsor.
So that's our announcement right now. We're gonna run Chris Jackson as our title sponsor.
Oh.
It's about time. You made it, Chris. You have made it. He is blushing.
Great. What a
man.
tomato.
Yeah, you guys might have to switch positions tonight.
Yeah. This is my opportunity to do that, and you know,
Awesome.
we don't have a
Wow.
title
I think you owe him a
that Doc's
kiss.
taking up or something.
Yeah,
so
can we get a
Jack
live
Foreman
kiss
can
here?
say-
A little hug? Kiss on the cheek? Oh.
How do you feel about that, buddy? You're a title sponsor on a pro car.
Sick.
Let's hear all about it.
Yeah, tell us
Let's
about how do you
hear it.
feel?
That-
What's
that
your
means-
first reaction?
Wait, does that mean you have a Formula D team now?
Now
since
we
I'm
have a
driving
full
that
team.
thing?
So now
Full
there's
team.
there's
Whoa.
three cars now between
Whoa.
Paul 3 and
We're gonna have a
Lucas.
busy weekend.
Yeah, that's gonna be busy. So I guess.
How do you
yeah.
feel? Did
That's
you didn't know
crazy.
this until now?
No.
That's what I was
We
trying to
talked
get
about it, but we were really busy, and like I was like, oh, there's too much shit going on.
That's what I was trying to get your
So-
sticker guy to hurry up and make.
Oh, so we gotta pick up my own stickers.
Yeah. I was trying to get his sticker guy to make the stickers and bring them in.
Yeah.
So I can like bust them out.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd
man.
be sick. So that'd be awesome.
You
Yeah.
better pick those up tonight.
Yeah, you might want those.
I feel like tonight's not a big sleeping night already. So.
Well, you already know the week before the event. You should already expect
yeah,
that,
but
though.
I mean, this is like still rolled in from Atlanta. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, but the
this is
car's
sick.
leased together, so you don't have the car
Oh, the
apart.
car's good. We found
Yeah.
problems, and like
Andy's
that
got a
car's
shit
ready
ton
to
of work
roll.
to do.
I just gotta put a drive shaft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Andy's got
drive
some work
shaft
to do,
loop.
but Chris, actually, I would say you're way
Yeah,
ahead of the
10
game
minutes.
right now. You got to put some stickers
Yeah,
on.
I mean, where
Maybe
where
11.
Bradley is. Bradley, you know,
Oh, there he is.
Bradley's.
Thanks, Bradley.
Did he-
We're way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
dude. So Chris went from having 0 cars to 3 in Formula D.
Yeah, real quick.
Yeah,
Wow.
real quick, bro. Making
Real
a statement.
quick.
Represent. Andy
Yeah.
Luck's not going to be too happy.
No, Andy Luck's been really
you're good?
cool.
Oh,
Me,
you guys
me and
cool?
Andy are cool
Yeah, he's
now.
super cool.
I got my
Is he?
nipple now. Yeah, like you know.
He still hates me.
Yeah, I mean it's all like when you do dumb stuff. He lets you know you did dumb stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, he still hates me.
Yeah, he probably still don't like you, but yeah, he
I called him
definitely
Andy suck, so like
definitely came around a lot. He doesn't hate me anymore.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Takes
That's
2
good.
years for him to like you.
At the point where he just gives up, he's not. Chris isn't going anywhere, so
Yeah,
he's
I'm
like,
not going anywhere now.
I'm gonna have to deal with it, right?
Probably what
It's kind of like herpes, right? You just gotta, you got it. It's just, you just gotta live with it.
Yeah.
Don't know about that problem.
No?
Can't get it twice.
Damn.
Yeah, you can't get it twice. It's the gift that keeps giving.
That's a problem I luckily don't know about.
Oh. You're gonna learn.
Sweet.
All
What was
right.
this on? What did we watch? I didn't even know.
That was Drift Insider.
Oh, I didn't
Mhm.
follow
Yeah.
them. I would have known.
Yeah, you would have known. I'm surprised one of
Oh,
your boys didn't hit you up already. It's been
I
on like all
know.
day.
Yeah, I missed.
That's funny.
He's been busy working.
Yeah.
Working in Jack's
No, it came
Performance.
out. My wife hit me up and she's like, "Hey, it's out on the thing when we were at the dyno."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was like, "All right, I'm not gonna tell him yet."
Surprise.
tell him
So
later.
how do you feel, Chris? Tell us.
This is gonna be awesome. I mean, this is this is cool. Now we definitely have to get the podium this time. It's on.
He's been smiling.
It's
Like
on.
ever since you told him, he's been smiling
Yeah,
nonstop.
we're definitely
Yeah, it's
getting the
gotta get to
podium
work,
now.
Yeah, you got three. Yeah, you got plenty of chances now.
Yeah.
If anything goes wrong, I'm just gonna be like, "It's Jackson's fault." I don't know.
So Andy's taking a podium.
Mm-hmm.
In
Andy,
his,
yeah,
in his,
Andy,
and then
Jeff,
you're taking.
and Lucas has got to be up there somewhere too. Lucas is putting in a lot of work and a lot of money. So
Well,
now we got 3 cars that got to make podiums.
Let's hear real quick about Lucas. Great story.
Lucas freaking out. You
Lucas
know,
who? Lucas who?
Torno.
okay, and who's? Was he driving?
So he's the deprived drifter. He's on Instagram deprived drifter. He's the green E36. So he basically had an E90 that he was building. I had a sponsor building for him, and he went to go pick it up, and it was supposed to be painted and like ready to go, and nothing. It's like a car with a roll cage, like rolling shell with a roll cage,
Oh
basically.
wow, I know
This
how that
isn't
feels.
happening.
I know how that feels.
Yeah, so he's like
Yeah.
pro-am guy, right? First,
So he just it's his
possible
first
pro team
year
respect.
in pro spec, and he decides like, hey, we need help. So he brings in here like Friday, basically like a shell, the motor like just resting in there,
Like that, right?
and
Kind of like
needs
that.
everything. Yeah, just like that, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically just like that.
getting that ready
And he's
for
like-
the prospect.
He's
Yeah,
like, we need to
20
be at spec on
2035.
Wednesday. Yeah, we need to be at spec on Wednesday. He's like, oh, and I need a bell housing, a throw bearing. I need this, that. Like,
And all the stuff that he didn't remember.
I'm
on
like,
top of
yeah.
that.
I'm like, so what do you have? Like, well, we got this transmission, but this one doesn't miss to have this. We got this, but we don't have a drive shaft for this. So I'm like, we don't have anything to make this happen. So Brake Bank Bryce was over here. They went over there and made like the anti-intrusion bars and like caught up in that. And he's been bouncing back and forth to get parts.
Mhm.
And then he called us up to Orlando again to finish the car. And then last I heard, he's trying to look for a tuner. So if you tune Ollie and you're listening to this, hit up the Prime Drifter because he needs somebody.
Yeah. My eyes are getting a little watery. Huh? You guys getting a little watery? And
So we got 3.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be
yeah, a
able
little
to handle what's happening
secondhand,
there.
little secondhand going on.
Little skunk walked by.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, something's
Man.
going on out there.
Anyways, go ahead, keep going.
So then I guess I pretty much told Lucas like, hey, I got like 2 priorities before you. So he was here and then he was not here. So that's why like we were juggling cars around all week. And,
But you got it done.
so we're hoping it's gonna be done.
Where is it? It's not here though.
It's not here right now. It's in Orlando.
Well, it's in, so how are you gonna get done if it's in Orlando?
Well, the event's in Orlando. So
So I know
that's
the
good.
event's in Orlando.
Oh, I
but-
mean, he's basically doing it on his own.
oh, okay.
The sponsorship thing was kind of like I'm helping him out, not pay full price for parts.
Right, you're not a
And I'm
title
hooking him up with
sponsor like
parts.
with Jeff
no,
Jones.
no, I'm not a title sponsor there.
With
You
you-
know,
Jeff
little
Jones
time,
you
little
are.
time with him.
Yeah.
I'm big time over
Jones,
here now.
Yeah, big time.
I'm gonna make him put his own sticker on tomorrow, though.
You
Yeah.
should, and with no shirt
I'm gonna
on.
have Jeff do it.
With no shirt.
Come on, crooked.
Make him take his shirt off too.
The other Jeff, G Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Which was the other Jeff?
It's Jeff with a G.
Yeah, Jeff with the G.
Oh, Jeff with the G.
Yeah.
Jeff with the J.
It was
Jeff
funny.
with
I
an
was
A?
actually on a set the other day. I was playing around, and someone's like, "Is this the actual Jeff Jones?" I'm like, "No,
actual?
I'm just a crew guy."
Well, people
I just
pose
changed
as
the
other
tires.
drivers. People pose as other drivers.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I do it all the
found
time.
that out.
I do it all the time.
Yeah. Well, we
I
get
used to
that
get
on
that.
People
the
were like
Clutch
giving me
Kickers live
fist pounds
stream.
and stuff, driving the car to the line. Like, you're killing it, man. I'm like, thanks,
wasn't
bro.
lying, though.
Got you.
No.
Well, that's what's kind of nice about Assetto is there's no chat like Forza has. So I get that in Forza. Like every once in a while, that someone would be on there talking smack. Like it's not him. Da, 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 da. I'm like, oh hey, send me a message on Instagram. I'll message you back right now. He's like,
there
oh
you go.
shit, it is you.
Oh, wow.
Well, I didn't believe it was you at first
Yeah,
when
yeah.
I saw you when
Oh,
we
yeah.
were all holed up on the quarantine.
Yeah.
And late night, I was on Maple Valley in Forza, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden, I see this guy pop up on
Yeah.
Haley Drift, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Who's this fool?" And like, he's in the E30. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's real, like
Yeah.
original."
Yeah, yeah.
So he's there, like
Yeah.
sliding around the track,
Yeah.
and I'm
Freaking
just
poser.
like, "This makes absolutely no sense." I
Yeah.
mean, because he's driving this car,
Yeah.
like. No other person has driven this car.
Yeah.
It was making absolutely no sense. And my friends were like freaking out. They're like, "Oh, it can't be him." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"I don't know. This is
he's
very
too good on that. He's
strange."
terrible.
Well, everybody hated that
Way
car
too
in the
good on
game
it.
for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I got a pretty good setup on it. I even shared like the setup on YouTube and stuff like that. Like I was perfectly open about how the car was set up, but it was like I think a lot of people couldn't drive it. It was like a full throttle transition setup, like really stiff
Jackson
front
hates
end,
it
really
so
loose
much.
rear
I
end.
know.
Well, I
hear it all
got
the
a
time.
It
confession
was
to
the
make.
Jackson setup. Yeah, yeah.
It's
No,
like,
I don't have
so
one.
in the simulator,
My
like
brother
you like
started building
think
one. I gotta
like
get one.
it'll do car things, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna like, spin first through fourth, go up the line, like, and it's like first, second, third, it just spins. Like, why did it spin for no reason?
Yeah.
It's just it felt like
You
spinning.
sound
right
like
there.
Paul. My
It makes
brother hates it. He's
It
like, this
doesn't
isn't
make
like
any
real
sense.
thing.
It makes no sense.
You just
to
spin
me.
nonstop. But
I,
yeah.
I want to describe it as you just hopped out of a perfectly good car in real life. And then when you hop into a sim, just imagine you hopped into your buddy's car in real life, but it's a terrible, terrible like Corolla with
With
bad
dry rotted
front
tires.
tires, bad back tires, one flat, open diff.
It wouldn't just
No
spin out
caster.
randomly.
Open diff.
It just spin out
Yeah,
randomly.
it's a diff that works sometimes. Like you
So
just
like
hop
you're just
into a
going straight
terrible
and you're
car,
like, okay, I'm gonna cruise in for a second. I'm gonna cruise.
and after
I don't wanna punch
500
it,
laps,
double
you will
speed.
get it.
Like, why do you spin out right there?
You're not counter-steering fast enough.
After
Come on.
500
no
laps,
sense.
you will get it.
Makes no sense. I tried like doing
Takes
just
a long
like
time.
donuts around a cone. Not
Yeah,
happening.
you got to give him
In
the
Forza
VR
or
too, so he
what?
gets nauseous.
Instead
It's
Instead
hard.
of-
Yeah,
to
it
do
was
donuts.
hard.
It's,
It was
it's
so
actually hard
hard.
to do donuts in a sim.
Would it in VR or no?
No,
He would
none of
throw
VR.
up because how much
Yeah.
he spends, he'd throw up.
And he had like a 3 monitor setup, so like I was focused on that first one.
I don't like the
I didn't even
triples for
see
some
like the
reason.
other 2 monitors until he's like, "Are you looking over there?" I'm like, "No." I was like, "I didn't," you
Yeah.
know, like I didn't
that's what
think
they're
that
for.
there's another monitor over there. You know,
Yeah,
like
had
it
the
just,
Fanatec wheel yet?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
what's the
It was the
Fanatec?
good one that was
You got
fighting
VR
me.
now,
You just
right,
sucked.
Jeff?
Yeah, I sucked
yeah,
at
yeah.
it. I sucked
You
at
just
it.
sucked at
It was horrible.
Jeff's the only one that I've ever seen hop on VR and just take it like a man. Like, no, he's like, no, I'm fine. I was like, you're not getting feeling nauseous?
Fine,
No,
bro.
he's fine.
Come on, let's go.
I'm gonna push through. I'll push through. Yeah, I got
No,
to
he was
to
great.
run on Spark Speed Shop Sim for a little bit,
Took me a
and
while
after
to
about
get
like
used to
15
it.
minutes, I was like, yes,
Yeah, you
a
start
little-
to be breathing a little hard. And
yeah,
you're like, be a little
panic
weird.
attack.
Yeah. Yeah, it
Uh,
took me about like 2 weeks of solid, like 15, 20-minute sessions to
Yeah.
get used to it. But this guy was just took it.
Beast mode.
Yeah, he does that with beer too, though. So, you know.
Oh.
Yeah.
Take it.
I have a confession to make. Your tune, your Forza tune, was actually so good that I
Yeah.
actually applied it to other vehicles.
Oh, really?
And it really improved it. So
There
I
you go.
gotta really thank you
Yeah.
for it because
Super
I was
stiff
just
front,
like bored one
super
day
loose. Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, what's this Andy
That
Haley
same,
guy,
sort
whatever.
of the same thing that I apply to all cars too. I mean, like when I, especially in Forza too, is like you just go real stiff in the front.
Game tune though, or like
Uh,
real life tune?
That's debatable because Forza is a little bit different than Assetto. Because I also haven't in Assetto. Most of the car packs out of the drift packs, they drive fine like right off the bat. So I make very little adjustments to them. When in Forza, like you hop in that E30 right off the bat, it doesn't really drive that good. None of them drive that great, but you make the proper adjustments and they drive amazing. You still don't get the feedback like you get from Forza from Assetto, obviously, but you can still get the car to do what you want it to do and place it where you want to and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm not surprised.
Is there a particular car that stands out? Like
In Forza or in
Assetto?
Assetto, not
Like your
really.
go-to car?
It comes down a lot of it has to do with what wheel you're using. A lot of the car packs are designed around the less expensive wheels, and some are designed around the more expensive wheels. So like the VDC cars and the higher horsepower pro cars, most of those are designed around really expensive wheels, like SimCube and direct drive Fanatec stuff and stuff like that. So when you hop on, I don't know, what was your first wheel that was
I had a
terrible?
Logitech.
So the Logitech,
G9,
yeah.
29,
I came to
whatever.
his house trying to figure this out, and it would work okay on tracks that didn't have a very quick transition. For example, like Irwindale. So coming around Irwindale, you'd be on the bank, you transition, and you'd have zero feel of what the front's doing. Sometimes you would do it right. Sometimes the car would shoot straight into the bank. Sometimes you'd overcorrect and it would go flying off into the infield. And there was no way to properly sort of feel what was going on. And in the ADC packs, and I'm not sure with WDT. I've heard some people have told me that with the cheaper wheels, they don't really like WDT. But I know the ADC 420 cars, they drive excellent on just about any wheel. And the more I got used to the 420 cars with my Fanatec wheel, the more and more numb they felt. And that's when I switched over to like WDT and like the Link ECU pack and DCGP.
I don't remember any of these names for all.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's
Well,
too
the
many.
street cars,
It's knowledge I
the
didn't
street
wanna
car
remember.
pack with the Corollas, the WDT stuff.
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
So we're
the
getting
ADC
real drift
420
advice,
cars.
and we're getting simulated
Yeah.
drift advice
That's
too.
not bad.
This is
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah, we're hitting all
Yeah.
the
There's
all
a
the
lot
balls
of
here.
All
big
things
drivers
drift.
that do it and don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Closet sim drivers.
There's some closet sim drivers.
Well,
that you don't even know.
I was on with Taguchi the other day on Mihan. That's
Yeah,
what that
yeah,
video on my
Taguchi's on there
Facebook is.
now.
Yeah, I didn't know it was him because I don't have
King Ryan Literal.
I don't have the name above the cars, so I'm tandeming with this guy. He kept taking these inside lines, and I kept like bumping him wide. I was like, I need room to accelerate, and I was kind of being a dick, to be honest. And I was like, and then I found out it was him. I was like, oh shit, sorry.
My
But,
bad.
You know, we had a freaking awesome time
Yeah.
jumping Mihan, hitting that in fourth in the Corolla.
I really enjoy it. I think if you want to take it serious and you like want to use it for actual practice,
Mhm.
dive in and spend the extra bucks. Because I like, put my toes in real slow. Had the
Yeah.
Logitech wheel, terrible. I bought a really cheap computer. I spent like $500 and built it myself. and that's okay. That'll get you by. But I could have spent a few extra bucks because now I want to have the better graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did like one
With
TV,
VR, it's so much more important.
and then I
too.
did the triple TV because I was worried about VR. I think that's something where you have to just find out if VR works for you. So like, find a friend or go to a store where you can test VR and like find out if you get sick. If you don't get sick,
Well, here's the thing.
Get
Like,
that
I
real
got
fast.
sick. I was getting sick. I wasn't. It was almost like a seasickness, but like I didn't give up on it. I just kept doing it for like
pushing
2
through.
weeks. Yeah.
he
your-
tied his
get your-
hair back.
get your
put
sea
it in a
legs
knot,
in there.
and went
Yeah.
to town.
Yeah.
He wasn't worried.
Yeah, I had a little barf bag.
Yeah.
It was good, dude.
We're
Yeah.
going committing full.
Yeah.
Come in full,
Full
bro.
send,
Yeah,
right? Full
yeah.
send.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So what's next, guys? You got some. What
Yeah,
else
I
do you
got
have
to
to
put a
do?
drive shaft loop on that car, and then I think I'm done after that.
Drive shaft loop. You got oil in it.
No, got to do oil.
I gotta wash my cooler.
Transmission's full.
So we got to talk about his
Up with the diff.
sponsors. Tell us about your
We didn't
sponsors.
think we didn't.
I have
figure
a
that one
whole
out.
list of awesome people. Yeah. So
Well,
starting off with
We gotta-
Jackson
we gotta find one.
Performance.
Title sponsor.
Title sponsor
Title
for
sponsor.
Title,
yeah.
Jackson
Yeah, yeah,
Performance.
Who
Yeah.
knows? If we win, we'll just keep running it all year.
We'll see.
If the
better
car breaks
fucking
down
win.
at all,
We
take it
better
off
win.
during the
We'll
event.
see. Don't give him any lip. Don't give him any pushback either.
Now, there's a lot of boys who've hung out with me. Edelbrock has obviously been like the joke about taking the podium to the trophy,
Mhm.
right? I always fuck that up, and so I say it. and-
Supercharger to the
Hey,
podium.
one of those, right? I
Doesn't
always throw
matter.
that off. PT Radio, they've hooking it up with the tires this year. They stole me from Nexon last year. Just
Oh.
the best thing that they and I could have done together.
Oh.
So really happy about that. That's a really great tire.
We had them dancing last round.
Yeah, we had,
We
a
had
whole
them.
team.
We had them doing the dance.
VPs,
That which dance?
everyone.
The Scooby
you
dance.
know
Yeah,
Scooby
they
Doo?
were
yeah,
doing the
okay,
dance.
oh, really?
The whole team. They were
And
all
then,
doing the dance in the pits. It was awesome.
Yeah. There's a lot of dudes, man. You mentioned Comp Cams. I'm with them now because of the Edelbrock merger with them. So we are eventually getting an RHS block. Once that's in stock, waiting on that.
Mhm.
Waiting for once CPR gets their hands on that, they'll do Engine Magic. That's for like last 5 years. And there's just a bunch of dudes, like Action Clutch, Clutch Wheels, C Auto, DNA. Sports. A lot of guys. New to the year is Voodoo Ride. They are the
Okay.
car cleaning, car care
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep.
So they're sponsored me and Ryan Literal. D Sports is like the old header company
Mhm.
that everyone had on their Hondas.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So my buddy Danny is pretty much managing that company and doing all their R&D.
It's
and
like back in
stuff.
Fast and Furious times.
So
when
me
they were
and
real
Ryan
big.
both had our cars over there, and that's kind of where Ryan was working out of on a lot of his blogs or whatever. And they helped me out, and so that grew into a whole partnership.
Okay.
So then there's some guys coming on board. So there's a ton of dudes, and I think all of those grew into a much bigger entity. So
Okay.
for all those guys. Somewhere back here says them all. Sorry if I didn't say your name.
Okay.
Back
Link,
there.
Duraflex.
Yeah,
Clutch wheels.
Yeah. All of it.
NRG.
Uh-huh.
Link
Top one.
Link
Clutch
ECU.
Wheels, NRG,
NRG.
DC Sports,
So
and
me and
Seattle
Kyle were
Parts.
on top one, and we made a bunch of funny videos, but they didn't go very far. I'm
Oh.
gonna probably start
Are they still up?
I think they're up, but Kyle's now on some other oil company, so
But you're not.
I may still release them. It's me and him. We're doing like a take on Talladega Nights.
Or maybe you could just like digitally
Ooh, I'll just blur his
blur his
face.
face.
That would be
No,
funny.
put
That would be
put Will,
hilarious.
what's his name's face on his?
Who's
Face
that?
swap.
The
Face swap.
Yeah, face swap.
Because see,
with-
that would be under one of those things where the sponsor could still use you, even though you're sponsored by someone else, and we just keep going with that.
Ah.
Right?
But
I like the
but you-
face swap
but
idea.
face swap be good.
Kyle, I'm gonna face swap you, bro.
What is 818? What is that?
818's a brewery that's actually right next to his shop.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But my buddy Louie, who's a beer nut, he knew my card number was 818, and their brewery is called 818 Brewery.
Mhm.
He just connected the dots. He's like, "Hey man, you love beer. They make beer. Your card number's 818.
They're
Yeah,
818.
It's like, there you go.
merge this."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so I went over there and drank some beer with them and said, "Hey, let's shoot some videos and just do cool stuff."
Mhm.
They're not actually a sponsor of the racing stuff, but they're more of like a
They
local
keep you hydrated.
hydrating.
They keep you
yeah,
hydrated.
entity.
Okay, I see. That's
So,
important.
Yeah,
you know?
we did our livery
in
unveil
between race
there.
hydration is very
Yeah,
important.
yeah. So we need to talk them into sending some beer for our celebration dances now, though, because
They
we're,
better hurry
we're
up.
doing dock bombs.
They better hurry
right?
up.
We need some
Yeah.
Oh,
818.
we've been doing
Yeah.
product reviews, so we'd love to review some of their product.
Right? 818, send them some beer.
All right. I mean, Ben, you have it. I know Andy's got to
Are
get
we
working
good?
on a
Is there any
car.
random questions?
Any random questions?
Let's
Well,
get a random question for Jackson to answer.
there was
me.
one, but it was it's a technical question. And I think
Last time I did one of these, we had a random question. We had to delete the whole episode.
really? What?
I don't,
Oh my
So-
god.
did we really?
No, not with you guys. With different
I was gonna say, not us.
podcasters.
It
Didn't
had to
work out
do.
too good.
It had to do with the rear suspension setup on Andy's car.
Mhm.
But I think you went over it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like I said, the outside pickup point moved back depending on how much you want, really. I wanted to make the kit adjustable so you could run it at like the 1 inch, 1.5 or 2 inch mark. So then you could kind of feel it out. But the 1.5 inch mark seemed like the balance point, basically. So the outside pickup point, 1.5 inches back. Obviously, you got to make your own
Wouldn't that make
trailing
it toe
arms.
out a lot, right?
That's why you make your own trailing arms.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
toe out like crazy if you want
Yeah.
to
Oh,
hold in.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I want to
especially-
hear Noel's question.
Here we go.
Yeah, what was your question, bro?
Yeah.
Go. And go.
Go do this again.
He's got no question.
I got-
Cheeseburgers
Not
or
even like
pizza?
a chicken wing
Cheeseburgers.
fucking
Cheeseburgers?
question or anything.
what are we eating after this?
That's
We
a
got
good question.
pizza.
I'm
Yeah, what's there
starving.
pizza?
We're supposed to bring
Yeah.
pizza.
Pizza.
Brad.
There we go.
Yeah, we had another question. Is where can
I
we
called
find
them,
you
you were just
guys
there.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
on?
well, we'll start
mine
with
is
Andy,
super
what, like, on
easy.
social media and everything.
No. I'm
Oh,
saying.
we're busy.
Oh,
Hang
man.
on, hang on.
Okay. What?
I thought
Dave.
there was pizza coming. I was
Alright, go ahead.
promised pizza. Now I'm.
Okay, no.
You gotta get food.
We have a semi-real question.
Go, go, go.
Yeah, we
Semi-real.
had we had
Gotta find
people
out
wondering.
We can't go nowhere.
Yes, you talking. Let's get this
You
interview
can
over
go
with.
somewhere, but we can't.
Answer.
Oh boy.
So, Dave, I don't know. You're not in camera. We're the title sponsor on Jeff's car. That means the website has to be
You're like, yeah,
that means the website has to be launched like
Bro, get that website launched.
that website better launch soon.
Right.
It's got to be Thursday.
Yeah, it's gonna be Thursday. Make it happen now.
Yeah.
Friday. Well,
Yeah.
it's Friday at 12.
The
Thursday
whole
midnight.
website has to be operational.
Thursday midnight.
Get
Thursday
back in
midnight.
there.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Friday
Thursday
morning.
midnight.
Morning.
All right.
Yeah, two more
qualifying.
questions.
2 more questions, Chris.
One of them is where can we drive with you guys on Assetto? Is it just random that you
Yeah,
guys
I
get
hop
on?
into random servers. Like usually the most popular servers, I just scroll down and I'll find whatever has 10 or 12 people in it. Most likely it's Tomato Sports Land or Lime Rock. Recently, that's what's been like popular on there. Gotten bored of like the clutch kickers track. Not to offend anybody, but I did so many laps there.
They are
Yeah.
pissed.
It's
They
small
are
too.
pissed.
Oh yeah, right.
We just lost 20 viewers.
Yeah.
Done.
We're down 100%.
But like, and then all the FD tracks. Obviously, I try.
Yeah.
If there's anybody at Irwindale or Orlando or something like that, I'm hopping in immediately. I'm just trying to find good tandems of good drivers. Whenever I hop on, I never call this guy and he
Good
gets
tandems.
mad.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
go on there and see him on there, like
Yeah.
on the Discord.
Yeah.
Like says Andy Hateley's on. What a jerk! Like you could just send a text, "Hey, hopping on." Nothing.
It's always like a spur of the moment. I'm like, I'm done. All right, hopping on the sim for
Yeah,
an hour or
yeah.
two, and then I go home.
5
make dinner,
hours
you know?
later.
And,
Yeah.
and what's your Hateley drift?
Haley drift. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And what about you?
I'm not as friendly, so I don't care to drive with anyone. I'm just
That's the whole, that's the who that
Well, that's
new
'cause I hit you
unfriendly
all the
Jeff
time.
Jones.
Yeah.
It's the unfriendly Jeff Jones that's coming out now.
I'm usually on the link server because that has my car on there. So you can usually find me on the link server, or just find Andy and you'll find me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am the real Jeff Jones Racing on there most of the time.
Okay. Another question is this is for Tim and Jeff. What's Jackson's favorite position?
Oh, well, it's
I heard
usually
it's a chokehold from a crackhead.
it depends. The Oreo.
Oreo.
I'll show you later.
Well, I don't like that I'm in the middle of this right now.
Oh, we got to
so
delete this
funny because
one
like
too?
he was like Oreo.
I'm getting
What
over
is
that.
that? I never. Oh,
It's definitely a spoon, when we're sharing beds. so.
yeah. It
It's a
depends.
little
Depends on a night. If
He's a little.
Yeah.
We switch.
yeah, we do the dirty dance.
Yeah, we have a
Hold 'em up.
60-50 game that we play on the who gets the how
Oh
much of the
yeah,
bed
60
per
30.
night.
Yeah, we have like a
Yeah.
percentage thing we got to do sometimes.
Yeah, when we go to the hotel, instead of like splitting the beds up, we just push them together.
Yeah,
It's better for the whole team camaraderie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there's
builds
three
morale.
people, one bed. You got to take the percentage,
Yep, builds morale.
When you get that 60% night, you're like, I got all this room. It's great. It's my 60% night. Yes.
Oh man, yeah. There's plenty of Jackson to go around.
I'm just picturing Jeff sitting in the middle reading to everybody. Everybody huddling around, you know?
There was one year, it was like Ice Road Truckers nonstop. Like every hotel we went to, it was Ice
Well, the
Road
year I
Truckers
was
on.
spotting for you, I was watching all the air disaster shows, and I was flying. I did more
Yeah.
flying than I did ever that year, and I was like really into the air disaster shows. So I'm like, oh, it's the 737. This is where the Bad Jacks crew took this one down. It just went right into the ground and killed 300 people. Cool. Yeah, this is awesome. Terrible time to watch those shows.
Well, that's funny.
Question for Jeff. Are you doing any more weatherman reports?
See, that's the top one video, right? We need to do those.
Yeah.
I would like to do more of those. We got to.
All right.
Maybe we can get Andy to do one.
You have to start doing segments. You got to roll with, run with that.
Segments.
Yeah, do some, do weather,
We gotta get
weatherman
Cerrone in
segments.
it with Stormwatch.
I've been trying to start Jeff Jones karaoke in the pits for halftime.
Oh,
Forever.
that's
Isn't-
genius.
Genius. See,
That's genius.
everybody would love it. Genius.
Damn, genius. All
Jeff
right.
Jones.
See,
Okay.
Jeff Jones karaoke in the
Well,
pits like for
sounds like we have
halftime.
two
So not the
plans.
weatherman thing?
So, who's asking this question, and are they coming to Orlando?
Which one? The karaoke?
Weatherman.
The weatherman.
I got a text.
Oh, we got text. Well, so who is the text from?
Yeah,
Uh,
make them come to Orlando.
Anonymous.
It's anonymous.
Anonymous.
Oh man, that stinks.
but karaoke, I approve that one.
Yeah, see,
Prove
everything
that
that's
one.
great. That's a great
Oh,
idea.
you're singing, bro.
No, it wouldn't be Jeff Jones karaoke if I sung.
You got a point there. He's got.
Yeah.
But it could be karaoke.
Yeah.
It could be karaoke
We could be backup
sponsored
singers.
by.
I'm,
We could be back stage. You gotta be the front man.
I'm just usually a few drinks into it, and then I sing my songs. You know.
We can do. I'll be a backup singer. Me and Chris can be our backup singers.
There
We
you
can do
go.
our
There you
melodies in the background.
Oh, melodies.
There you go.
We're gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do it, I guess.
We're gonna have like when we get our race suits, we're gonna get juicy on the butt and paint
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good,
He
right?
already told me he was getting a race suit that said "juicy" on the butt.
That was my
He's
idea.
pink. He's pink.
I'm pink
juicy.
and he's juicy.
Were you here when he was talking about that?
No,
No, it was
but
his
I-
idea. I had to jump in on it.
Inception. I
Wow.
got it. So,
Okay.
That's gonna be cute.
yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna make all the guys jealous.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Our milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Anything else, gentlemen, that you want to say before we sign off?
I'll say some words for I don't know who the audience is here. Unfortunately, this is my first time listening, watching, being part of the show.
Yeah.
But I've heard you guys, clutch kickers and that kind of stuff, and I think it's definitely like a smaller audience and dudes who want to be the drifters, right?
Mhm.
And so to that, I always say, me and Andy are the example of dudes who are pulling it off. And the question earlier is like, did you give up? Like, that's a really good question. And we got Brad here, so who Andy's borrowing his car.
Thank you, Brad.
Peep in the camera. Peep
If
in
you,
real quick.
get in here, bro.
Get in,
If
get-
you,
get-
and I'm, so basically,
Look
I'm
at
talking to Brad here, right?
Andy Cam.
Andy
Cam.
if you want to do it, you can do it. It's feasible. It's definitely a lot more expensive now than it used to be,
Stay next to Jackson. There you go.
but
There
it
you go.
is feasible. So if you have questions, don't ask me on Instagram, how do I be a Formula D driver? That's like the worst question, and it would take me 5 hours to answer.
Yep.
Basically, if you have some simple questions that I can help you out and you actually have a car and you need some advice, I will answer them on Instagram. So I will try to help you. And so I know most Formula D guys will. But the very broad question of how do I become a pro and you don't actually own a car, that's not going to work right now. But it can happen, right? If you're watching this and you're like, damn, I want to be a pro in a couple years, that's feasible. So you can do it. That's my word.
Yep. Andy, anything you got?
Thanks for having me, man. This
Oh,
has
no.
been
Well,
fun.
thanks for coming down.
Thanks to Brad for letting me borrow
No,
his car here. And
it's all a Brad thing.
yeah, I think
all
you
a
said
Brad
it
thing.
really well. It's not a sport that is a hobby. It shouldn't. I mean, it's a hobby if you're just going to. But if you're really taking it
yeah.
professionally, this is going to be your life. This is going to be your obsession. It's going to be what you eat, sleep, shit,
Drifting
breathe.
ruined my life.
You know.
Yep.
So
Drifting ruined my life.
ruined my bank account.
yeah. Like and those broad questions. I get a lot of weird questions about like how to fix like an M20, like the stock E30 motor. I'm like,
yeah,
I've never built one of those. Like,
Yeah,
I bought that car and slapped a V8 in it. Like, I don't know anything about that. So like, yeah, you get some random questions here and there. I always try and help out as many people as I can. Yeah, it's just I'm looking forward to more years to come. And
Yeah.
I want to see you on the goddamn podium, sir.
Podium, right?
Podium.
With that
Podium.
supercharger.
With the supercharger.
Supercharger. Jackson's got to rip it off. That's going to be a lot of work.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
And then I'll become completely useless.
You need a 3D
You've seen me useless
microphone.
before.
Hang on.
Wait for 100%
Karaoke,
useless.
karaoke, backup singers, dancers with a supercharger on the
Bill's
podium.
belly
Yeah.
jiggling right in front of you. Doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah.
There you go.
If it
Hello,
happens,
anyone?
he's running up there at the podium too. He's
Yeah.
coming.
With his shirt off.
Yeah.
With his shirt
The
off.
truffle shuffle.
If I get a
Shuffle,
podium,
shuffle,
I feel like
shuffle,
we're shutting down
shuffle.
all of Formula D.
Huh?
I pretty much know when I get on the box, all of Formula D is going to be like just lit on fire.
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's just going to be like I feel like probably Chris, Vaughn, Osbo, everyone's going to come party with us for sure.
Yeah.
It's just a long time
Nothing is
coming.
getting done. We're not moving
Yeah.
anything.
Formula D themselves, Andy Luck,
We're
Ryan
probably
Sage,
sleeping somewhere
everyone's
outside the
like
trailer.
calling off, flights. We're gonna need hotels
Yeah.
for a few days.
Yeah.
We're shutting whatever city we're in. Hopefully, we're in Orlando. We're shutting it down.
Yeah.
Gonna wake up in the Everglades next to a gator.
Yeah.
3 days later.
Hopefully, I have
How did
my
I
shoes
get
when I get
here?
to the
Yeah,
airport.
yeah.
That's a story.
That'd be
That's-
great.
Well, you just follow the planes. You look up.
Yeah, there you go.
They're going that way. Find your
Maybe
way
heading
there.
towards the ocean. They may be heading towards an airport. We don't know.
You never know.
I don't know
Hit
what
the ocean, you're going the wrong
There
way.
you go. Then you just
back
go
the other
east,
way.
north, or
Yeah.
south, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in, guys. Thank you.
Later.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank
Yes.
It's gonna be a crazy weekend. Hope for the best, and thank you folks for tuning in. And catch you next time. Good night.
Good night.